and welcome. This is the Intercontinental Group of Awesome, where I and friends from either sides of the pond, as it were, in the United States and in Europe, play tabletop role-playing games. We are kicking off a new series, although I know those of you who've been watching the Zombie World game are like, but. Yes, we all have had those conversations in the intervening week, but still, we must press on. That was an end of a season. It was not an end of a series. And I am going to share with you, just because I love this YouTube thumbnail that we'll be having. I love that art so very much. That's right. It's 5 years later in Halcyon City. We are continuing the Halcyon City Chronicles, or Halcyon City Herald Collection campaign that we began earlier this year. Now, those who followed the channel, you're aware that Paul passed away, and he was one of the participants. I have, just out of respect for my own emotional health, I've just decided that Vridian and his father, Master Justinian, and his mother, Mooncaller, have all been alerted to an extra-planar threat, and they and Blackstone Island have left the dimension in the intervening 5 years. We, behind the scenes, may have some conversations about the possibility of reintroducing Vridian as an NPC, but for right now, I need the emotional distance because as we started to prep for this, it took me a little bit to kind of settle into enjoying all the wonderful stories we've told together. And I know that Paul would want us to play on. I 100% know that. So this is the first time we are returning to a game that we had played and he had participated in. And we'll do it with the greatest care because he was a close and dear friend. With that out of the way, we are returning to Halcyon City, but something is significantly different, and it's not the intervening 5 years. We are going to be playtesting a different game. We're not going to be running this with masks. We are going to be using a system that is in alpha testing, I guess you might call it. It is called Project Lycra. And Project Lycra was born with the idea, it's interesting because it was born with a challenge of Paul to Jen, more or less, saying, hey, I love masks a lot, but I don't always want to play young adults. I want a grown-up masks with feels, with a Z. And I know that because that was the name of the Google Drive folder that Jen started working on. And Jen has made a game that I've played a number of times. If you look on the channel in the non-IGoA stuff, you'll see that I've run it a few times. And we've actually run it with the Intercontinental Group of Awesome a couple times. But this is the first time that the full group is revisiting Halcyon City. So I'm very excited about participating in this. And Tyler is joining us. He has a brand new character we'll be introducing, a character playbook that I have never seen in play that I can recall. And now I say that, I'm now thinking back and going, wait, did I? Maybe not. Oh, what? Was Magpie tarnished? No? Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to stand on that until, Ragnarok was a tarnished. Dang it! I knew I was wrong as soon as I said it. I was like, why did I say this out loud? Yes, so Ragnarok, who Rags we all know and love, and makes a few appearances in a certain book that is in the layout right now. It's our first target, but this will be the first one in October of 2019 that I've seen. There we go. I'm now official and not inaccurate. I'm going to stop talking before I say more dumb things, and I'll just save those dumb things for later. I'm Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. The game we will be playing is comic book related. I think of it as a PG-13 style game. That said, we do have, as I always love to use, the social tool, safety tool, social tool, safety tool, that's more wrong things, of the X card. So if we do anything that causes anyone to be emotionally uncomfortable or causes discomfort, makes them want to withdraw from the game, all you have to do is indicate an X or say X card, and then we will stop and we will excise that from our play. No harm, no foul. Your safety is far more important than the canon or truth of the stories that we're making up together. With all of that preambles and thing, now we will introduce peoples. We're going to go with returning cast, and then we will end with Tyler introducing his character. And as we do that, we'll then roll around to do relationships and ties, and then we we'll talk a little bit about the past 5 years as we begin play. I'll start, as I often do, with Alex. Hey, Alex, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Yeah, I'm Alex, and I'm going to be playing Unisha Upal, aka Armature. She was a child prodigy, and now she is the ancient age of 20. So she can't drink in bars, unless she hacks the DMV. She now has her own lab, that, hires people. Though her main lab partner is her AI construct.
A former shame.
Project Diffuse. He used to be kind of a villain-ish, but they reconciled. So it's now her personal assistant.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it identifies in any particular way. No.
I think it, like a non-gendered it. Does that sound good?
It. I'm trying to think if I just by habit call it anything, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Alex, let's see. Let's talk a little bit about the stats. So you are playing the playbook of the Architect.
Yes.
And the Architect is a fascinating character because it's, it's the genius inventor type. It can easily be made into an Iron Man style, but you've taken a different tact. What are some of the expertises and invention themes that you have decided to choose for this play?
Well, I had to choose 2 expertise. So I have engineering and physics, and then my invention themes, which also 2 of them are robotics/drones and dimensional travel.
Oh, that rings so true to previous adventures that we've had. So good choices. Yeah. And then you have within this game, there's things that I always think of as keys, originally from the Shadow of Yesterday, but made more "quote unquote" famous by games like Lady Blackbird, as well as the ill-fated Marvel heroic RPG. So you have an XP trigger, and whenever you do certain things, you'll get XP for it. Can you tell us what XP trigger you've chosen?
Well, I had to choose the absolutely perfect. When you absolutely fail at some ordinary interpersonal interaction, gain 1 XP. I can gain 3 XP, like buy off and kind of remove this XP trigger and choose another one if I commit to some sort of social milestone with, gusto and style.
Awesome. You've chosen 3 moves to start. What are the 3 moves that you have?
Well, the suit comes with the Architect playbook, this is one you definitely choose. So I have a suit. I got to choose some strengths and some weaknesses. So it's nimble and quick and self-repairing, but it's unarmed and, well, if you see any of the artwork, it's kind of exposed.
Yeah.
I mean, Of course, I could cover myself in it, but I also don't want to suffocate.
That's true. Actually, I am going to just take a second to show the full picture because the thumbnail crops off some of that to fit within the mode. So let me show this cool picture of Armature. Anybody who goes to your
I'm also missing some limbs because from
yes,
as a child.
Correct. Yes,
but I built better limbs.
That's right. That's awesome. Love it. Cool. And you'd already mentioned the personal assistant, which
I took the personal assistant move. So Project Diffuse supplies me with protection, security, and household management. Because
just imagining Diffuse going, "I will not vacuum again." Cool.
So now I just dump food on the floor as I put it, because
as if she ever resisted.
Yeah.
And then you've got a third move here, which is definitely going to be an interesting tilt to the game as we established it 5 years ago, showing the growth and change and evolution. And what is
company
that?
resources?
Yeah.
So I have a corporation. I kind of imagine it as just a lab rather than a massive organization. But I think from the things I've built, I've earned a reasonable amount of money to, have cutting edge equipment, and from patents and such. And
nice. And that move just gives you what? What are the mechanics?
It kind of gives me resources, and then I'm able to spend those resources on certain bonuses, like adjusting the public opinion of a teammate to like move their trust up one, or getting the right thing when I really need it. Well, yeah.
And yeah, it says here we've got a when time passes move bundled within company resources, and you'll have to roll with humanity. Boy, I did not expect to see that you had a positive value for humanity. Wow, Anisha has grown. I'm so proud. It's a +1. This is great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll talk about backstory as we move along. We're going to be playing this for a few sessions. Anything else pertinent that we haven't talked about that you wanted to introduce here at the top about Armature?
I mean, she has an aunt and uncle in the city who have a little local shop, which I have upgraded to the cutting edge. Slightly against their will, but
to their consternation, yes.
So they have a almost fully automated shop. If they wanted to, like, they could just leave for a month and it would continue functioning, selling things, restocking, protecting the premises.
Oh God, protecting the premises, that terrifies me. I'm going to talk real quick before we jump to Jen and have her introduce her character about a couple of NPCs that are, in my mind, attached to Anisha. The first one you've already brought up, Ramesh and Banita, your uncle and aunt. But I also want to mention Hazit. Hazit is a person who's a cousin of Anisha and a few years older than her, so he's legally able to drink. But more than that, we saw a peek of him in another dimension, like an alternate Earth version of Hazid, who was kind of like a war machine like Iron Man, Rhodey Rhodes style character. And this Hazid, over the last 5 years, has either discovered that latent talent or decided that it was a path that he wanted. So he has now his own war machine, calls himself Battalion. And yes, I'm aware that there are superheroes with some of the names that I may throw out as NPCs. All the names are taken. So sorry, but he goes by Battalion, and he works for Aegis. So Aegis is kind of it definitely is Masks and Halcyon City settings version of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was very tickled to finish up the second season of The Tick on Amazon, which, if you haven't watched it, is amazing and maybe the best Tick that I've ever seen. And I love Tick, and this is probably the best Tick. It's definitely the best written Tick. But the Aegis is in that. It's like a big part of it, so it's really hilarious. That said, Hazit works for Aegis. And a character that was in the backstory for Anisha that we've never seen in any of the sessions that I recall is a guy by the name of, we're just like jumping down trying to find his picture, Farouk Fadel. Yeah. So Farouk is from Pakistan, just like Anisha is from. He was a villager who took Armature's first prosthetics designs and notes and built it. Now, over the years, he has actually come to Halcyon City. He was hired recently by Dr. Jocelyn Solis, who is the CEO and tech wizard who runs Hanover Institute. And he is working for her, building a lot of her designs. And so we'll explore how that affects their relationship as we play. Yeah, those were the main ones that I definitely wanted to throw out as we talked through Anisha's.
And there's definitely
Yes?
animosity between Anisha and Dr. Solus, and probably everyone.
I mean, it's Anisha, so yeah.
I don't think anyone's particularly a fan of Dr. Solus, except for maybe our new character who's like, who?
I didn't know she's bad. She seems good. Like,
Yeah.
are you sure she's not good? Thank you very much. Jen, please introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Okay, it's me. I'm Jen. I am playing as Seraph, aka Ashley Banner. Seraph is the daughter of a mortal human woman and an archangel. And so she has a nice suite of angelic powers. She has wings, she flies. She is strong and fast and good at powerful stuff. She is a paragon, and I took overwhelming because I need to test that, and there's always a way because I need to test that, and secret identity because I think that Ash/Seraph is still kind of rocking the, I need to have as much of a private life as possible. So she's a session musician part of the time in, at least one band. And then Seraph the rest of the time. I might be wrong, but my understanding is that a session musician is basically an instrument-playing mercenary.
That's my understanding too.
Somebody will be like, well, we need somebody who plays X, Y, or Z for this particular thing for a brief amount of time.
Cool. Now we get to explore Halcyon City's music industry. That'll be pretty fun. Good. So let's see. What's the XP trigger that you've chosen?
When you lend your power to a person or cause that has none, gain 1 XP.
Cool. All right. And the overwhelming move gives you a bonus for pushing your limits, which is one of our moves, and also allows you to do something with weather a blow, which is interesting. There's always a way. It has a start of session move, so we'll have to keep that in mind. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Good. All right. So we we'll define relationships after we've introduced all the characters, but I will introduce a few NPCs attached to Ashley. We already know about Lydia. Lydia was a powerful real estate agent who worked heavily in commercial. And then she purchased Mr. Amazing's Wonderwalk, which she got on the cheap, super, super cheap, because it was kind of sort of haunted. But the Halcyon City Guardians were able to cure that because the Quintet was the group that they faced, and you guys took care of them. So she purchased Mr. Amazing's Wonderwalk, has renamed it Wonderwalk. There are still some Mr. Amazing statues and the like, but it has become... obsession might be a little strong, but let's just say while she knows that Lydia knows she can make more money as a powerful real estate agent, and she still does that on the side, she seems to pour a lot of her heart into this amusement park, is constantly talking about getting newer technology. Maybe she's even kind of peeked in to what it is the Armature could potentially build, but maybe kind of eked off when she found out either the price or perhaps the way the safety tested, because Anisha's always been a little bit flippant about quote unquote safety. That said, Wonderwalk is an amusement park that's doing quite well, and she frequently asks the Halcyon City Guardians for updates on their calendars to potentially sneak them in for a little promotional appearance, or just come in and kind of cut the ribbon on a new ride, and all those little things that she might connive in just a little bit. But she plays it off like she's not she's not like a pageant mom about it, but still, it's a thing that she enjoys, and it also gives her time to be around you guys. Also, we have Lizbeth. Lizbeth LeBlanc is Ashley's wife of now coming on 5 years. She knows about Seraph. In the last 5 years, she's graduated high school, she's attended college and law school, has graduated, and now is working at a legal firm downtown. This legal firm specializes in superhero related legal affairs. So Elizabeth would likely consider that her firm would represent you guys. I have not named this firm. So if anyone has ideas, I'm imagining there'll be like 3 last names. No, it's not going to be Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. I'm sorry. It's not going to be Wolfram and Hart. Sorry, both of those. I mean, X card's a little strong. Let's just say no card. I'm just gonna it's a hard pass. I love them. Don't get me wrong. But if people in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter, because I posted this up, if you have ideas for the name of the superhero kind of oriented legal firm, and yes, I am borrowing heavily from the amazing runs of She-Hulk, the volumes where She-Hulk was involved in a firm that would deal with superhero issues, because I think it's amazing. It's so fun. I especially love the particular ones where the Comics Code Authority was considered enough of a legal binding to where back issues of comics could be introduced as evidence. This is crazy. I don't know if I'm going to go that meta, but like that's the fun that I'd like to bring in with Elizabeth and the legal firm she's involved in. Let's see. So we've got the mom, we've got the wife. Any other NPCs of particular bent towards? Yeah. So this will bring up because Ashley is a session musician. So Dimitri is one of the NPCs from Teenage Gerbil Uprising. We've had this conversation over the last 5 years. TU has broken up. Dimitri has gone off to the left coast to get a degree in music. I think he occasionally shoots you guys like a text or an Insta and just talks about TGU. They occasionally just have a picture of him wearing an old TGU shirt, but he's doing his own thing. But there's still that fondness for the first group, right? The first thing that you guys did. So Dimitri's not around all the time, but it's totally possible for him to occasionally show up at Halcyon City. I think that covers most of the NPCs that are, in my mind, directly attached to Ashley. Any other aspects of Ashley Banner, aka Seraph, that you wanted to mention, Jen? Nope. Got a note. All right. And now the last of our returning characters. Jan, please introduce yourself and your character. I'm so excited. So excited.
Hi. So I will be playing again, I guess, Atlas, aka Marcus Meyer. Marcus used to have a degenerative muscle disease and was likely not going to live very long. So his parents agreed to have some experiments done on him, and that was done by what were they called again? The Hanover Institute? Yeah. And now he's a 7.5 foot meaty, muscly boy. Or by now man, I guess, because 5 years later, he was already the oldest of the old group, so he's now 24 years old, I think. He used to be the Bull playbook in Mask. By now, I've converted him to the Changed. His powers are massive size and strength and superhuman durability. He can still wreck through walls and stuff. he also has some weathering a blow moves, and I can use my large monster size to frighten and intimidate people. He started to grow a beard now. He's not quite sure yet if he'll keep it, but for now, he's happy with it. XP trigger is going to be when you suffer from a prejudice that your teammates do not gain 1 XP. And what else? I think that's it.
Good. Thank you, man. You ran it down all of it. That is awesome. I'm really excited to see when you beat a monster. I know you're going to pull that off. It's gonna be great. So let's talk a little bit about the NPCs attached. We have Carl and Lena Mayer, your parents, who over the last 5 years, you've been healthy, you've been a superhero. They don't really, I don't think you've told them about your problems with Dr. Solace or your, like, quote unquote evil twin. So they probably consider a job well done, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about that. So speaking of Teenage Gerbil Uprising, the keyboardist for TGU, who has her own glowing powers, Onyoung Kim, who has now stepped in and has become the superheroine Glowbug, because she's not the sad version from an alternate Earth that was Glowburn. The two of you, Atlas and Glowbug, had dated in high school. How do you think that's going now?
I think they're still dating, and it's getting pretty serious.
Nice. I think in the last 5 years, I'm going to check in with you because I want to give you just a little bit of authorship of this character, at least in the intervening 5 years. I kind of imagine that post TGU, that rather than becoming a session musician or going off to music school, that like with her glowing powers, Onyoung Kim actually like became a drummer singer, kind of a solo act for a little bit, had a top 40 like single. I think it's going to be like Glowbug related, like My Heart's Glow, kind of poppy. It's very, very poppy, forgettable kind of thing. And so it got up to like a top 10. It kind of peaked around 9 and then disappeared pretty quickly. Her two follow-up albums haven't hit nearly as well. And I think that Onyoung Kim, while in a serious relationship with Atlas, is still kind of chasing that dog, because I think it would be interesting if we're going to do a little bit of music industry stuff, that while we have session musician Ashley who's just in it for the music, and then we have Onyoung Kim who's like still chasing after a little bit of that pop stardom. Yes, this for fellow fans of Phineas and Ferb, perhaps this is just a little bit of a nod to Phineas and Ferb's mom, but that's okay. It's totally different because she was popular in the 80s. And people don't even get that. I'm sorry. You should watch that show. Disney Plus is going to have the entire run. One of the best animated series ever made. And I'll just stand by that, and I'll stop saying anything about that. It's a thing. All right, I'm going to move on. Let's see. Other Atlas things. I mentioned that there's this whole evil twin, Manicius.
Yes.
So Manicius, the younger clone of Atlas.
Yes. Not a twin.
Yeah, that's right. He's a clone. He's a twin. It's like he's got different colored hair. He has not grown a beard. Steadfastly not grown a beard. Still shaves every morning. Occasionally thinks about it, holds the razor, and says, nope, he's got a beard. Shaves it because he just wants to be a little different. He wants to stand out. He is working for Hanover Industries. Just recently accepted a position in security.
It's a terrible idea, all those people working for Hanover.
I know. It might be. All these people working for Hanover, it might be a terrible, terrible idea. But he has also massive size and strength and superhuman durability, much like his clone. Let's see. Anyone else that I kind of consider Atlas adjacent? I don't think so. Anyone else?
Fraggle Rock.
So if you look at the basic moves, friends, way down at the bottom, I have stuck a Project Lycra. Oh, where is it? There it is. Custom moves on row 136. The Claymore move has been adjusted for rolling with power instead of freak. So it's pretty much the exact same move, except I have it taking ties with you. We'll see if that works or if that's a terrible, terrible idea. Yes, you still have Fragarak, a.k.a. Fraggle Rock. Tyler, I don't know if you saw those, but Fragrak is like a Celtic name for it, but everyone jokingly called it Fraggle Rock, and it doesn't like that a whole lot. It's a talking sword. It shows up at the most inopportune times, but it's pretty great. I mean, when I say great, I mean great for me. Mostly, yeah, that's great. Cool. Anything else about Atlas that you want to make sure we introduce here at the top?
No, I think that's good.
Fantastic. Now we have seen all of our returning player characters. Tyler, introduce yourself and tell us about your character. I'm very excited.
Hi, I'm Tyler. You see him pronouns, and I am going to be playing Reverend Horace Hazard, sometimes called Demon Deacon. He was a West Texas evangelist. Grew up. His father was a very famous one as well. Traveling across tent revivals all across the Southwest. Married little Betty Buckley. She was called Blessed Betty back in the day. She was a child singer. We had a sweet relationship, but you know, the drink, the women, the parties at night, they called to me, and the Lord, I didn't hear him when I went to these parties. And so it was that I strayed. Hoary Hazard began delving into black arts, partially because he did have some powers, and in the course of what he wanted to do, he was willing to converse with demons. And it ended up costing him his wife, and we can delve into backstory, I imagine, as we go along. But he's much older than the rest of the party. He's probably kicking around 50. He would say, you know, early 40s, but he's pulling 50, I'm sure. He is the Tarnish playbook, which I love this playbook. It's amazing. I have, as my powers, Mastery of Demons and Illusions. And I've taken the moves Darker Knowledge. When I commune with the underworld, supernatural or otherwise, roll with power, and I get some stuff out of it. Bargaining, when you parlay with a villain outside of a conflict and away from other heroes, to find something you have to offer, spin a team, and forge a bargain with them, and we trade stuff. And takes one to know one. Your trust modifier is always counts positive when you pierce the mask. And if I have a trust at -2, I may have a little issue or two that goes on with that. And I don't know if there's anything. Let's see. I've got awesome XP triggers that have to do with me attempting to find a little redemption or trying to, where are they? There we are. Sacrifice your somewhat improved image in the service of heroics. I can have positive things happen. When I resist temptation to do something corrupt, or when I confront a villain who used to be an ally of mine. Those are some of my XP triggers. And that is Hoary Hazard.
Which XP trigger are you going to go with? Remember, we can switch to XP triggers if you realize, oh, this isn't super fun. It's totally cool.
I got you. So you only choose one.
Right.
I think I'm going to take the when you resist the temptation to do something corrupt, gain 1 XP, and the buy off, gain 3 XP when you wallow in corruption, and will remove this trigger. I think that's what I'll take.
Friend? That's it. I want to capture the gif of Jen doing a wallowing animated gif. So if there's a lot of corrupt folks who show up in this game, it's because of that XP trigger, friends. It's not me. wallowing in corruption. It's just offering Reverend Horace Hazard the possibility of doing that thing. That is cool, man. That is really interesting. And we haven't mentioned them, but there are intimacy moves in this game, which is, I think, great tonally versus, say, a sex move doesn't feel like it would be right here, and it definitely didn't exist in Masks. So I think that'll be really fun to engage that. And those will, when we come near them, we'll engage them and talk about them at the time. So with the Demon Deacon involved, now again, like all other PbtA games, you guys are working together. You are a team, even more so than like Apocalypse World. You're a legit team. The Demon Deacon has been added to the Guardians roster of late. So we need to figure out why that is. So let's talk about relationships. Demon Deacon, Tyler, you've got a couple of relationships to hand out.
Mm-hmm.
Read them out and see who you think they would go with.
Okay, and I sort of imagine that, Deacon has, I travel a lot, so this is probably me staying somewhere longer than usual, because invariably if I stay somewhere long, demons start to come bother me for favors. So my relationships, one is Blank keeps a watchful eye on you. And the other is you've got Blank marked. They're shadier than they seem. I definitely could imagine that Seraph is keeping an eye on me, but that's just a thought.
I think that works.
Yeah. Thematic, definitely.
Yeah,
Yep,
I like
yep.
that a lot. Now, I want to ask this question just so I understand the motivation of keeping an eye. Jen, do you think that Ashley made that decision about the Demon Deacon on her own after having met Reverend Hazard, or do you think that that is something your Archangel Father, Azrael, asked of you?
Well, her father's name is Ariel.
Ariel, sorry. I'm so sorry.
That is okay.
I even have that in the NPC thing. I'm terrible.
Yeah. I think that Ashley came to that decision on her own.
All right. Awesome. Good. And then you had a second relationship to hand out there. Which one do you think that might go to? Somebody shadier than they seem.
Yeah, anybody feel like volunteering? Anybody shadier than
I
they
could see that
like
working
Armature.
equally well between Atlas and Armature. I mean,
Yeah.
Atlas definitely has the kind of. He tends to have felt like the heart of the team, but he also has some anger.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah.
And
But Armature.
Armature just a bit ambitious sometimes, a bit loose with.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sometimes I don't think through the consequences of building a death machine.
Armature, is yours more ambition with sometimes shady morals? Is that the...
I wouldn't say it. I think it's just thinking like, oh, I could do this. I will do this. Oh, I did this.
I think that works. I think that fits in well with kind of Hori's, path to hell's lined with good intentions.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll go there then.
Cool beans. Thank you very much, Deacon. Seraph. I'm going right to left in the character keeper. That's why I just randomly called out your name.
No, it makes sense. I kind of expected it. Goodness, this is tough for me because it kind of seems like both of them point towards Anisha, but that's not great. Like story mapping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel like of all the other PCs here, like Unisha lends Seraph connection with the city. So I'm just going to go with that and see who would be interested in doing things that I'm sure I could never do.
Yeah, I think if you like, the Demon Deacon can do certain tarnished things that you could never do. That's a definite angle you could put there. And then Atlas just being, I don't know. There's a lot of similarities between the two characters, so that would be maybe each by feats of strength or something. I'm not sure there because
maybe
Atlas snipping off at a sword is definitely something where I think Seraph could do the same type deal with that same temptation. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's pretty similar. Well, then I'm going to go with Rev Hazard can do things I'm sure I never could. Because he's good at the magic, and I'm pretty sure I could never be good at magic. Like Ashley / Seraph. How do I say this? Like, she's a magical being, and she can see magic. That's right, I didn't go into my powers very much. I forgot about that. But she has a sixth sense and a magic sense. And she has an intuitive understanding of magic. But I don't think that she could ever be a magician.
Neat.
If only because, after a couple of hours of studying, she's going to throw the book in the air and shout, "Magic is stupid. I want to spend time with my wife."
If only the Deacon had said that in previous years. Oh!
Exactly.
Good. Okay. So we got those worked out. Atlas, you've got a couple of relationships to hand out.
Blank comforted me during a low moment. I think that might be Seraph.
Nice. What do you think the low moment was? And maybe it's something that's happened in the last 5 years that maybe we haven't seen. Maybe, sorry.
I'm thinking. I think it might have just been him trying to look for a regular paying job and just not being able to get any because everyone knows his face. Everyone he's too big for a lot of jobs.
Yeah, nobody's going to put Atlas in a cubicle.
No. I mean that'd be very, very Mr. Incredible, but it's problematic, as you could see in The Incredibles. And then the other one is Blank knew you before you changed, which I think might be the Reverend. Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe me and my parents used to go to his church.
I approve of that. That's nice.
That's cool.
Nice work. That is really good.
So you would have seen me roll around in a wheelchair.
Interesting. Okay.
As a much smaller kid.
Do you think maybe they brought you? Would they be the sort who came because of my faith healing?
They wanted some faith healing, probably, because.
Perfect.
That is really good. Thank you for reaching out to our new character to create that relationship and also introducing a little bit of historical Marcus. I like it a lot. That's very good. Arbiter, let's see your two relationships, please.
I built something handy for. I mean, this is something I think Atlas for that one. We kind of touched on some of these ideas in the last campaign. I can imagine I could imagine training equipment, or just something that wouldn't collapse under his weight. But like beds.
Or we can go all the way historic, and I mean, you build something handy, being a place to live.
Yeah, I created a. You still return home to a door that's just doesn't have anything on the other side. You open it, and then you are in the weird tentacle sphere with that can become beds and what you need.
I like it.
Okay. I give you some normal to your life. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put that was in it. Seems full of ideas for the future. Blank seems full of ideas for the future. I really do not know what to put for that one. Has anyone got any pictures for that?
Relationships, Jen, just so I'm clear, they're intended to be for PCs, right?
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I think they should be. I just want to make sure that
I think it's. Yeah, I mean, I would not demand in the rules that they always be for PCs, but they're intended for PC relationship building. I think Seraph might actually be a good candidate.
Yep.
Yeah. Seraph / Ashley.
I mean, that could kind of follow on from the whole, forcing me to have a date and things like that,
Yeah.
Less kind of the futurist, more the you can have an actual future with, people and things.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Seraph is very someday we need to grow up a little bit more and break out of reacting to everything and instead must act. And then think about building a future where the city is more resilient instead of just
suddenly there's zombies storming through.
Yeah, suddenly
downtown.
zombies, waiting around for things to happen that we need to fix.
I like both angles of that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Now we will circle back up to ties. Now, ties is an interesting mechanic within Project Lycra. It's important. I would definitely want to chat it through a little bit as you guys work through that. So ties are the give and take of close and important relationships. In order to gain a tie with a subject in game, you have to have an appropriate scene with them, something where you both agree to a tie. Could be that a tie could be forged between PCs, or a specific role result. Let's say that there's a fiction that could be some kind of manipulation, and then or there's a heart-to-heart that happens. An intimacy could create a tie. You define the relationship by writing a line of attitude that describes how you relate. And in some circumstances, Jen, I always forget, is it GM or MC that you prefer as the term?
I'm rolling with MC.
Right.
I say GM accidentally in a lot of the text because I've been gaming for a long time, and
as long as it's not ref, I'm okay with it. Actually, it's GM and masks as well, so it's all good. Let's see. So you get 5 ties to distribute among PCs, NPCs, organizations, locales, and anything you can have a reciprocal bond with. You and your ties get a mutual +1 to rolls that target the other. That's right. When PCs both have ties with each other, that means they get a +2 to target rolls. If you lose a tie with a subject, the attitude may shift, but it will stay on your sheet. You're still connected. You just don't get benefits or a bonus. If you would gain a tie with someone, you already have a tie with, you gain a team instead. So it's a 1 or 0. It's a binary thing. You either have a tie or you don't have a tie. You don't get tie of 2. It's either tie yes or tie no. Is that clear? Anyone have any questions about ties?
Just a quick
Yes.
Just a quick elbow in and
Yeah, please.
mention that if you were listening closely, you get 5 ties to distribute. Ties are limiting. So if you have distributed all 5 ties and you gave an option to gain a tie with somebody you don't already have a tie with, you might have to choose to drop a tie with someone else to take it.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily, just because you gain a tie with person X, meaning you have to drop the tie with person Y, it doesn't necessarily mean that person Y now hates you. I'm not that petty. It just means you no longer get the mechanical benefit of that tie. So you can be as meta as you wish with making those choices. I consider ties that you have with people an indicator, kind of a love letter to me as the MC, that you want to make sure those characters are featured and mechanically important or fictionally important. And then the mechanics will tie along with that. Tie. Now, just to be clear, teamwork is a wholly separate series of really interesting moves. So you can have a tie with someone, but when you want to help people out, that's a different thing. Cool. So I recommend at least leaving 1 tie open. So there's a suggestion that I make, but you are welcome to do that as you so wish. Blessed Betty Buckland is so going to show up in a future game. Like, that name is too perfect to not be someone who makes your life terrible. And I'm probably going to lean into the bad Southern accent because I have one naturally, as you guys can probably catch from time to time when I don't mask it appropriately. So that'll be fun. Good. There are a few little NPC updates as you guys are thinking things over that I just wanted to briefly mention. The Young Crusaders team of Battlecry, Sloth, Malleable, and La Espada graduated into their own new team. They are called the Megastars. They are backed by the Transcendent Crusaders, but are their own corporate entity technically. Selena Slimeball was not invited to the new team, but she seems okay with it. The Megastars have their own reality show, merchandise line, and after an extensive entire season of a search, it's a new star search. Kavita, the cousin of Vridian, has joined the Megastars. So the Megastars are out there. Copper Topper went to the Spike as a result of you guys making sure that he saw justice. His term is a 5-year term, which is nearly up. Copper Topper is a member of the Transcendent Crusaders and mostly terrible. He has electricity powers that he uses on people willy-nilly. Safia and Xander are still around. They are heroes for hire who work for small businesses and people who need help but happen to have a checkered past like themselves. Already mentioned Hazit and Farouk Fidel. So those are the major updates. And then the last little one is an NPC named Ruby Fontaine. She was the school newspaper reporter, kind of the lead reporter. She has gone on to get a degree in journalism and now is a young and hungry reporter for the Halcyon City Herald, writing for the newspaper, but she also blogs quite a bit as well. In a turn of kind of the modern era, she does not have a cameraman. She's got to do it all herself. So, yeah, that makes it a little challenging, but you know, hey, you get to learn lots of new stuff. Cool. You're right. It was just Copper Top. Thank you so much for that. So it was not Copper Topper. I don't know why I called it. Well, actually, I think the character I stole it from was Copper Topper, but I prefer Copper Top, so that is it, because he's just a living battery, my friends. That's why I went with Copper Topper. Cool. And I'm going to change that in my notes so that I don't accidentally say that wrong again. Unisha, you have this fabulous wealth. You have your own company resources. Where do you live now?
On a mattress in the corner of my lab.
Okay. That seems about as healthy as I would have expected an answer from Unisha. Where is your lab located? I'm going to bring up the map that we used before.
I don't think I would have put it in downtown. I think it is a real sudden, like, you get kind of poor neighborhood housing, slightly rundown shop, absolute bleeding edge high tech lab, laundromats.
Love it.
So I'm
that
not
is
sure where.
Well, let's blow it up a little bit. So I know that Ashley lives in Lantern Hill, and I think we talked about Lantern Hill being a little bit on the rundown side.
Ashley might have moved.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she lived in Lantern Hill when she lived with her mom.
That is very true. So the Armature family shop was in Southside.
It was, yeah. Maybe in Lincoln, I think, actually.
Yeah, and Lincoln's where Marcus's family lives. So I'll make updates to these this map as we talk through. So I like the idea of actually moving. That's probably cool. We'll figure out where when I get to you. So do you want to go with Lincoln? Is that where you wanted to go? Lincoln is right by the Spike Penitentiary, which is right here.
Wasn't there like a scrapyard somewhere?
I think that was also in Lincoln. Lincoln is lower income area.
Yeah. Maybe I moved a little bit nearer to the river. So, you know, if I need to react to something in the city, I'm a little bit more kind of central. But I'm also, I mean, I think at least subconsciously, I definitely keeping a kind of like opposite end of the city to the Hanover in a shoot. So somewhere near the bridge, I think.
All right, so you're south
Between
of the South
Lincoln
River.
and Southside.
So you're imagining, just so I'm clear, you said you want to be near a bridge. We've got a bridge here. We've got the Mona Glen Bridge, which is a major bridge, and then we have the bridge that goes across to the Spike. Which of those three?
I'm trying to find where this.
Oh, it's road 31 along the South River. Lincoln is right here. I'm trying to
trying to find where the scrap heap was.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Oh, I'll say the main bridge, near the main bridge.
Let's see, south
Like the
side.
big old.
Okay, so near the Mona Glen Bridge.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. Good deal. So then let's figure out the Demon Deacon. Demon Deacon, where do you and I know this is like a gigantic map of all kinds of stuff. So if you want to give me like an idea of the type of place you imagine he stays, then we can figure it out together. Port Regal is kind of ritzy. There's a lot you can see the roads are very thin. That's because there are a lot of larger mansions and the like. Lonely Point has a really awesome lighthouse. Lincoln's kind of the cheaper area. Southside's middle class type area.
What's
City
the
center.
Fins?
The what?
The Fins there, right at across the bridge at the river, right across from Southside.
Ah, the Fins. Well, Rich is just going to cheat and get some ideas from actually looking at the map or the info. So this is Freedom City is the basic map that I'm using, which is a Mutants and Masterminds thing. So let me just look up the Freedom City book and I'll go to the Fins.
I just love that name.
The Opera House.
The Fens are a corner of the theater district on the shore of the South River. Originally a marshy area, it was filled in years ago to allow for the expansion of the city to eliminate disease-carrying insects. Now a new sort of disease is infecting the Fens as the area becomes progressively more low rent, with each block away from the heart of the theater district and toward the river and Greenbank. They're home. Oh gosh, the Fens are home to sleazy porn theaters and adult bookstores, a large number of waterfront bars, and relatively cheap housing. How did you know to choose this, Tyler? This seems like the right place for Demon Deacon.
I think so. Yes.
Of any of the areas of the city, it's the one that should be leveled.
That seems like home.
Wow. That is amazing. How did you just sniff that out? It's you have a superpower. That's great. So you live in the Fens. What kind of place do you imagine he lives in?
I'm guessing one of the more rundown neighborhoods, but I think rather than like an apartment, it is probably a house. Maybe it was a nicer house before things started going south there. So probably like nice turn of the century look to it, but all around is kind of icky. And I can't imagine that Horace keeps up with stuff, and he probably doesn't own it. He probably just rents it.
Okay. Rents. And imagine it has like a dilapidated chain link fence and yard that you don't have to mow so much, mostly because of the roots of the couple of trees in the front yard kind of deal.
Yeah, cracked sidewalk.
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling it. Right down from a place called the Chicken Shack where you could just walk down and grab some food. But yeah.
Chicken at midnight is a blessed thing.
How does Demon Deacon pay the rent? Like, what does he do? Does he still... does he use his powers? What do you imagine? Do you think he kind of bilges off of the slush fund for the team that maybe Anisha set up?
Well, I mean, is the team a business? Is this our job or is this our hobby?
That is a great question. You guys are officially a team. Like you are known among the city. At least one of you has a secret identity, but you have a person with fabulous wealth. So, Armature, how do you handle it? Is this a thing where your team is officially doing business as type deal? Do you just fund the team from your own inventions and a slush fund that you've created? What do you think?
I imagine that I was like came up with the idea of like, yeah, we should be funded. Project Diffuse, set up an algorithm, and now you get paid based on some archaic algorithm.
Excellent.
Okay.
You might like find it like really weird, like you just like, you're looking on Facebook at something, like, I really want to buy that, and then like your account is credited the exact amount.
Cool. Okay. And I imagine like as a bit of a side hustle, I probably will like go in and do a bit of that faith healing sort of thing, or the counseling is I tend to get found when people are having ghosts or need an exorcism. It sort of calls to me, sort of thing.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. Atlas. Yeah, where do you imagine you live in the city? You still in Southside? No, you moved out.
I mean, I'm not living with my parents anymore, but the place that Unisha had set up was also in the store, which was, I think, also in Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could probably move the door.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine that it would have moved because it was like an antique store or something. I don't remember. They were like, for him walking through that store was.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just like a little local grocery type store, of everything, whatever
Yeah.
you could need.
So
But yeah, it was fairly packed and like narrow.
I think that the
space between
door
everything.
definitely moved, but probably still in Lincoln. Think maybe like on the corner of B and 12 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Lincoln has A Street, B Street, C Street. And then
That's right. It's nice and simple. Do you imagine that Atlas and Eunyoung Kim live together, or do they have their own separate place? Oh, they do? Okay.
together.
Cool. And are they renting a place? Is it a house? What do you think?
It's what Unisha made.
There's a pocket dimension.
Yeah.
Just a small one though.
Pocket dimension. Okay. So the entry, does it look like you're walking into a house? Or does it look like you're walking into a store of some kind?
It could. I mean, the door. It looks like a pretty basic door. It has like a metal. The frame of the door is like shiny metal, and there's some sci-fi weirdness around the edges of it. But the actual door.
Yeah.
So, and you can put it where you want. You could have been in the middle of a park, up against a tree, on the floor. You'll get a bit of vertigo when you go in, but
that's weird. We will definitely have some fun with that. Where's the door again, honey? I need to go home. So Ashley, Jen, you said that you think Ashley is probably moved, no longer in Lantern, because that's where your mom was, and she's definitely moved to be closer to the waterfront where the Wonderwalk is. So where do you think Ashley and Lizbeth are living?
I mean, it could make sense for them to have moved into the city proper in some fashion.
Yeah, I definitely think that the legal firm is downtown. It's in Midtown, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe somewhere between the Theater District and Liberty Park.
Okay. Writing it down. That's why I'm quiet. Cool. So somewhere between Theater District and Liberty Park. Let me blow that up. I'm trying to find Liberty Park. Liberty Dome.
Oh,
it's at that center, basically.
Dead
so
center? Oh, Liberty Park. Jeez.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, like,
wow. I was looking for something
row-
small, but it's like really easy to find.
row 26 or 27 and like
All right, around there.
column F, kind of.
And are you imagining you guys are in like a condo, an apartment? What do you think? All these square streets, I think there's a lot of high rises going on here,
Yeah.
Brownstones, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there exist condos that I would call apartments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Lydia could handily make sure that they get into one. So yeah, they're living in a high-rise condominium.
Sounds right. I like it. It's space is a premium kind of thing.
Yeah, like I wouldn't call it cramped, but I wouldn't call it spacious either. Cozy. Yeah, rooftop access. That was definitely a sought-after feature.
Yeah, your mom definitely made sure that you had the ability to get up to the rooftop so you could get the heck out if you needed to do superheroing things and maintain your secret identity. That sounds cool. All right. I feel pretty comfortable. Anyone have any stuff they definitely wanted to establish about living spaces or how you earn a dime? We've got session musician. Atlas, are you holding down a job or just sponging off of Onisha's slush fund thing, or
I
what?
think I would have offered. I would have offered a job, but you know.
And I think also like Unyoung probably does have a job, so
Yeah,
paying most of the rent. Well,
she's a
rent.
pop star.
Most of the groceries come from her pay.
Yeah, I'm imagining this. Like it's a little feast or famine for her. Like every once in a while, she gets a royalty check, and you guys go out and eat really well. And then every once in a while, she's like, I have to go to. Oh shoot, I was trying to think of like a state fair type thing. Like she has to go appear in a bevy of like a lineup of a bunch of other, kind of has-beens that you might see at a state fair playing at a nearby state fair kind of deal. Cool. Good. Anyone else have any other stuff they want to establish before we jump into some stuff after break?
One thing I was trying to ask, lost the window. My move, the company resources, is that like a roll once when you start the game, and then anytime time passes, you roll again, or is
That's
it
how I
you
understand
wait
it.
until,
Yeah.
wait until it, you start with your one resource and then you wait until time passes before you roll it again.
Jen, what's your intention with company resources? The roll when time passes. Do you think that's kicking off game, so roll it, or do you think we should establish with just the one resources and let time pass in a fictional way?
You begin play with one in resources, so don't roll it before game. Yeah, start one and roll forward with that. That way you can experience some of it without, possibly getting
having nothing
robbed of it in your first session.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I know there's always a way for a beginning of session. Do we have any other beginning of session moves? I'd like to roll that just so I can kind of noodle it over during our bio break.
Yeah, I've got
that one.
There's always a way.
Yeah. No, I let off saying I know there's that one. I was wondering if there were any others.
Sorry.
It's okay. I don't think there are any others. So let's go ahead and have you roll. There's always a way. Roll with power.
Man.
Oh, do we have a dice roller room set up?
Wow, that's a great question. We do not. I will get that.
All right. It's a sign, so I'm not going to use these dice. I'm going to use these dice. Oh, well. There we go.
What's the sign?
Oh, I tried to pop my dice out of the little aluminum case that they are in, and one of them dropped to the floor, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
All right, so my son would scream out, floor dice don't count. So.
All right, so that is a 7.
7, good. So that actually, there's only one. The miss is the one where I would have a dastardly plan just for you.
Yep.
The 7 means you get to hold 1. You can spend your whole 1 for 1 to take more or fewer choices on roll results. All right, cannot avoid overstate choices with this move. Good. We have all of that in play. We are 1 minute after the hour. Let's take a 9-minute break. So we'll meet at 10 after the hour. See you all and enjoy your time away.
How have you been, Jen?
I've been pretty good. This has
Good.
actually been a pretty big weekend for me so far. Yesterday, I was, out of the house by like 11 to go to Rocky Mountain Hobby Expo,
Ooh.
which is a show that a local fella, Jim Mursky, has been just hustling to get off the ground, and trying to add like a good game track too.
What's its focus? I mean, is it a focus thing or?
I mean, there's a lot of hobby participation, so like model trains,
Ooh.
Estes Rockets was there.
I
RC
love model trains.
and modeling. Oh, friend. So I never got a chance to look at it, but one of the things that the expo has had that's been so fun and such a fantastic draw is a bunch of, I don't know how local they are. It's actually not safe to say, but a bunch of folks come in and bring their builds, the train builds that they made, like not as an individual, or at least not all of them, as a group. And so those are some elaborate, big setups.
So I just find them fascinating. When the work some of these people put in is just astounding.
Mm-hmm. And
Just
this
so
year,
cool.
there was a lot more on the games track.
Hmm.
They managed to get Yellow Games to come in, Atlas Games, Direwolf Digital. At least a couple more that I can't recall off the top of my head
Cool.
were there. And then after getting out of that, I wasn't working, actually. I was volunteering for a local charity called Gamers Giving, helping them staff their board games library.
Oh, that's super cool too.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. Gamers Giving is a charity that does direct support of gamers in need, usually in the local Denver, Colorado community. So if somebody's had some kind of catastrophic event, like their house burns down, or this year they're raising money for a lady who is fighting cancer, I believe of the leg, right? But they do fundraising and assistance directly for that person.
That is so neat. That's just a wonderful give back from the gaming community. That's super cool.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely cool. I'm always impressed with the charitable ambition of the gaming community as a whole. I'm always really proud of that. But right after that, I got out of Denver Mart, the venue, and then busted down to Union Station to get on a bus from Denver to Boulder because my girlfriend was in a dancing expedition called Ascend Dance. And it's this like modern experimental dance thing where like a significant portion of every routine happens on a climbing wall.
Huh.
It was amazing. It was such a good show. Everyone was so creative and like really utilized the possibility space presented by the wall.
That's fantastically interesting.
Very cool. And I'm so proud of her. She did a few elegant sets and performed really well because she's just a really high performer, holds herself to a high standard. And so that was rad, but I didn't get home until like 11:30-ish.
I not only can't dance, but I would be terrified to be on that wall because heights make me a quivering little mass. Well, big mass, but still quivering.
I mean, it's only a 15, 20-foot wall, but...
Nope.
Yeah, I'm similar to Tyler. Like when I'm way high up, if there's guardrails and I'm walking near the guardrail. Yeah.
It's like it slants towards you, doesn't it?
I keep seeing in my head like visions of me going over. None of it's logical, but yeah.
That old the Spider-Man game that was on like Xbox and Super Nintendo where you'd swing along. I could scare the crap out of myself going on top of buildings on that game. Or Assassin's Creed. It would scare the crap out of me getting on top of things.
Assassin's Creed, yeah, that's the whole thing. Yep. Awesome. We're back. Thank you guys. Sorry, I was gone a minute longer. There was a conversation. Hey, it turns out that we have some on Twitter. A few folks have thrown out suggestions for our law firm already. Luis Paolo has asked, suggested Namu and Associates, a wizard resurrected the ancient Sumerian king, and he went into law. Stephen Desjardins is Johnson, and Johnson. The founding Johnson is a distant descendant of the other two. And Matthias is Bullion Insurances. So the Bullion Insurances almost sounds like something that Atlas would be forced to be part of. Hey!
Hey!
Jules!
Guess the weirdness by Jules.
Yay!
We got a Jules buy.
It's been too long since we've gamed together. Thank you for that cameo. That was nice. It made my heart happy. Let's pick up. So I think I'd like to get to know the Demon Deacon a little bit. So, Deacon, what time do you normally wake up in the morning? We're going to say that it is nearing winter, right? So we'll say that it's October. Halcyon City, as an analog, as I kind of imagine, is New Yorkish in a kind of a geographic type of deal. So it's chill on the wind in the mornings, but it hasn't exactly full-fledged winterized yet. It's just the thing where the leaves outside from your house that you rent have all changed color or fallen to the ground, and a lot of orange versus green outside. So what time do you normally roll out of bed?
Mornings aren't good for me. I usually tend to think about 1. 1's a good time to wake up.
1 p.m. is morning time for the Demon Deacon.
Yeah. The AM, that's just not right. It's not holy to be up in the AM.
And does the Demon Deacon wake up alone normally, or especially this quote unquote morning?
Yeah, he wakes up alone.
Okay, cool. So I think you wake up. I'm just going to assume that whether or not the Deacon would purchase nice smartphones, that he would be given one, kind of stipend one. But yeah, I think that the personal assistant to Armature has requested a team meeting. And so you have a notification on your calendar that you're currently possibly going to be late. Unless you get up and get out within the next few minutes. At least that's what the reminder says.
I'll definitely go ahead and kind of throw on my suit. It's, what I wore last night. I have a couple of others. They all look the same and have not really seen the dry cleaner or an iron in quite some time.
So you're like the king of frumbled suits?
Yeah.
I like it.
And throw on, I have a kind of overcoat, kind of tan overcoat I wear. And a hat. A gentleman should always be out in a hat. But I will hurry on. This is paying the bills. And I'm really excited to work with these kids.
Yep,
they're
definitely kids.
They
could be your kids. Like, they aren't, but like age-wise, these could be your kids. You're old enough for that to be a true thing.
And it's made it's really sort of turned my life around to stay here. Cause normally it's stay on the move, but there's something about them that has inspired me to stay.
Yeah, nice. How is it that you get around? Do you take the public transit? Do you have a vehicle of some kind?
I do have an old vehicle. I have a 1978 Lincoln Town car.
Oh man, I was thinking you're a caddy guy, and here you are, a Lincoln Town car. Okay, you educated
It's a
me
Ford.
there. It's true. All right. Yeah, so 70s is probably not in the best of shape. Kind of like you, a bit tarnished.
It's it's seen a few fender benders along the way, but it's reliable, just like me.
Good. I adore this. I think. Yeah. So would you come outside to head to your Lincoln Town car? There's someone seated on the hood. The heels of their shoes are on the front fender. Their butts on the hood. The hood ornaments, your Lincoln Town car hood ornaments, been gone for a while, I imagine. This person is not normal. They have purple hair. They're dressed in a really sleek-looking like a coat with cool tails, and they have a cane that is tapped along the broken asphalt where you've parked. The thing that definitely tells you that there is something not right about them is that they have no face.
Oh,
Yeah. You can ignore this part where it says villain. Don't worry about that. It's just that's just nomenclature. Who cares, right? But this is Satin. Satin chooses the they them pronouns. It presents a somewhat femme persona to them. And have you worked with Satin before, or has Satin just started following you around from time to time?
I think we might have worked together before.
Good. Reverend, good morning. The voice emanates from no mouth.
Satin, nice to see you.
Yes, it is nice for you to see me. I have a proposal. I have a need. I think you can fill it.
Well, your needs tend to be expensive.
Well, I am able to fulfill those needs from time to time. And if you are saying that money is what we're talking about, I can finagle a way to make that happen. I assume you want a new vehicle? They kind of tap the fender with the end of their cane. Or perhaps a new abode, and they point with the cane towards the house.
I'll have sidled up and kind of lean up against the car beside them. And, well, now, money's such a dirty thing. You know, in our line of work, it's generally reciprocal favors that go the distance now, isn't it?
It's true. It is. A barter economy will outlast this medium of exchange. Absolutely true. Do you have a particular need in mind? Because I do have a particular need in mind. We could work out this exchange amicably immediately. Or are you looking more for a promise of something equal in kind at a future date?
I suppose that depends on exactly what you are needing.
I'm working as an intermediary for an interested party who wants to know a bit more about one of your teammates, Seraph.
My face will kind of harden.
Oh, no. It's merely a curiosity. See, that Seraph has been sighted in a particular area within the city, and unfortunately, she has been difficult to track down. My current employer is interested in speaking with her one-on-one. If you could perhaps reveal who Seraph really is.
Now, Satin, that's not neighborly, and it's certainly not a sort of thing that I'd do with one of my friends. You know how much I care about my friends.
Oh, but friends are also a medium of exchange, aren't they, Reverend? I mean, really.
Then let's say that my friends are very valuable.
That is what I was hoping to hear. See, as soon as we add value to this conversation, then we can come to an amicable arrangement. They reach over, pat your side. What is it that you need? Because finding Sarah for my employer is worth a great deal.
If your employer's wanting to speak with Sarah, why don't I just help arrange that meeting? I don't think that I can, disclose who Sarah truly is. Honestly, I hardly even know myself.
Oh, We sniff a little, move a little closer. I don't believe that to be true at all.
Oh, Satin, now. The truth. Isn't that just another commodity, too?
Oh, Deacon. Deacon. Yes, we will begin with a meeting. If you can set up a meeting between Seraph alone without your team and my employer, then I will owe you one.
And you and I?
Even tell. Oh, yes? What should you like from me?
And you and I would be at the meeting as well?
Sure.
All right. I think that sounds acceptable.
Good. Very good. My employer will be a little disappointed, but I'm sure I can convince them to see the light. You can go ahead and text me when and where the two of you will be.
And you'll owe me one, Satin.
You can feel the smile, even though you can't see it. Yes, I will owe you, Reverend Hazard.
Well, then I'll be in touch. And don't scuff my paint.
As if you could tell. They hop off of the hood and it rises up just a little bit, right, on the suspension. And they start, the cane taps with their footfalls as they walk away, missing all the cracks on the sidewalk. And, yeah, so we will skip ahead. So it's like, Seraph, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you've received a message from the personal assistant that you need to meet. I imagine that Liz is at work. Where do you get this message? Like, what are you doing? Are you doing some session recordings right now down at the Rocket?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. So who's there, like, hang out at Rocket Records that you know?
Goodness. Not sure if we ever established a name for the owner of Rocket Records.
If we have, I don't remember.
It's been 5 years. Maybe we have a new owner. Yeah, we'll go with new owner. Let's pull a name out of the names book. Story Games names book. I've gotten so much use out of this thing. We are going to go with something interesting because, we're cool like that. We will say that her name is Rosamy. And I will put this in the NPC. So she just goes by Rosamy. She's got a very long last name. She's Thai American. So yeah, Rosamy purchased the place from whoever owned Rocket Records before. I do think if we were to dive back into the archives, we could find out that that person had a name, but it's not. It's not that important.
Not super important. Cool. All right, I like that. I've actually tossed in on line 32 of NPCs and stuff a sketch of that NPC entry.
Perfect.
So feel free to edit and or add or correct as you see fit. So yeah, no, Ash is probably hanging out there with Rosamy. I'm probably laying down lead guitar for some band that I'm not quite a part of as they do a couple of recordings.
Oh, good. So yeah, I think Rosamy's more of like an intermediary. She offers a little bit of studio space. It's something that she says, I hope that worked out for you. I'm still trying to upgrade. I know that there's that studio needs some love.
Well, I mean, it's certainly better than a garage covered in eggshell foam. So we're getting the value out of it. Absolutely. And yeah, Jen doesn't know what to suggest to take a studio from tolerable to good. But, you know,
But I bet
Ashley
has an idea of like
Ashley has an idea.
extra wide thing. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You talk a little bit of shop about that. And then Rosamy says, she goes over and sits on the glass counter near the register. There's a few. I imagine that she's upgraded. Like she's taken out the old register, and now it's one of those like iPads that you swivel around, and hence running a Square app and all that good stuff. And so there's more room on the counter. She says, I was wondering if you would be interested in perhaps signing some merchandise. I've got some old TGU stuff, and since you guys kind of made it here, there are always folks who come in and make requests. I could pay you a little if you need.
You still have some TGU merch? That's awesome.
I do. And she goes over and she pulls out this box and kind of puts it, and you see there's a bunch of TGU, like extra small and like quadruple extra large shirts. There's a few old Jewel CD cases. You don't know. I think Dimitri was the one who made sure that you guys had some CDs printed. And then a few like thumb drives with some of your catalog on it that has the TGU logo on it. It's not a whole lot. But
Sure.
yes. Oh,
yeah, no problem.
Good. That is very helpful. That is good. Thank you. And that's when you get your message from the assistant. They. We'll go with a they pronouns for Project Diffuse.
Yeah, and I'll be like, shoot, I should take this. Actually, is it all right if I take an extra small and a triple X for?
Of course.
For
if
Young Kim and her boyfriend.
For Glowbug?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. Maybe she can take a picture of herself wearing it, mention the record store, and that's where she got it. Maybe like.
Is it okay if I offer the same deal to her that you're offering me as sort of a go-between, or would you like me to get her in touch with you?
I don't know if I could afford her. No offense. But yes, ask. I mean, it's worth asking. Right?
Sure.
I mean, I could set up a Redbubble store and then just, yes, do that. That sounds great. Thank you.
No problem. All right. I will, and I get the box braced against my hip. I will talk to you later, and I'll look at the message and
Yeah, there's like a
walk out.
countdown of like based on current traffic. Current traffic, you need to leave in 4 minutes to arrive on time for meeting. There's a countdown.
So I will go.
Cool. So let's cut to Atlas, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What are you doing? Are you like right near? I mean, imagine.
I think I'm sitting at home watching TV. Like in my Super's costume, even. Bag
So-
of crisps.
I got to know what daytime TV catches Atlas's attention.
Phew. Probably something Dr. Phil like. I don't know.
That's so great.
And is this on like just a normal TV you brought in, or do you think this is just a gigantic projection that's part of the what I
I
built?
think it's a normal TV.
Okay.
Which is weird. Like it looks, because it's probably like a slightly it's like secondhand and slightly old-fashioned. Like maybe even like CRT and instead of like flat screen, and that's backed by like a very fancy, like futuristic apartment. Is like weird.
That's great. I think, yeah, first you get a text from Onyoung Kim saying, we'll be home tonight. Let's grab a bite out. You don't have to cook for me. And yeah.
He'll send a text back with like great, like GR8.
There you go, safe letters. And on the screen, we see someone like in the Dr. Phil's person is like getting a pregnancy test of some kind, and then we've got two guys and like which one's the father thing going on, and then you get a text from Project Diffuse. They are advising you that you will need to go a very short distance to reach the the office, as it were.
I think at that mention he jumps up and like he's excited and he really just runs out the door, leaves the TV on. Just, like he's super bored and like he's waiting for this sort of stuff.
itching for action. I love
Yes.
it. Cool. So yeah, we will then cut to Onisha, aka Armature. Before Project Diffuse announces that they have called a meeting with the team, what do we see you doing?
I think it's 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think she's like absently eating something while just going over equations. I think
Nice.
it's clear that she has no idea what time of day it is. She might have been up for quite a while working on stuff. She's just, trash around her. Oh, a little pool of trash that's like perfectly cleaned at a certain radius.
Is that the amount of trash your personal assistant has taken care of?
I think it's just Diffuse knows not to kind of get in my face when I'm working. So just around a perimeter cleans up.
Nice. It's like one of Diffuse's tentacles, like coming around with like a little vacuum cleaner of some kind, a little Dyson, and cleaning things up. Project Diffuse advises you a new development coming. I have taken the liberty of calling the team together so that we can all evaluate this potential threat.
Yeah. You do that. Right.
Do you want some soup?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Thank you.
One of the soup comes around and then a spoon.
I just like, yeah, tentacles. My tentacles go out and just start like. I think I can now have like I've created like a selection of arms. So I've got the one that I'm just feeding soup to myself while my other tentacles are like making annotations and notes and to my equations and adjusting things.
Nice. So the team, we'll do a little like time jump as you guys enter. What is the meeting room like, Armature? Is this a place within your little portal that everybody just walks into, or what do you...
I don't think this lab is actually in a pocket dimension.
Okay.
I don't think I've done that with this. I think because I don't want to have that much power drain on. I've got lots of machines that need a lot of power as well for my, lab work and production. So, I kind of imagine it as. Has anyone seen the game Control?
Not yet. I've heard it's really awesome.
Basically, it's definitely adjusting, but more like cubes, kind of like the walls moving, sides clearing space, things coming out of the walls as needed. So I think the meeting room is basically just my lab recedes into the walls and a table comes out of the floor.
Nice.
How long do you guys have been in the room before I notice you're there?
Yeah, who arrives first? And it has been sitting there.
I think it's Atlas, because, like I said, he's bored and like excited to go. Like, oh, there's something going on. I'm here.
After that conversation with Satin, I would imagine perhaps that the Seraph's the next to arrive. Seraph, I assume you like bug out. How do you arrive as Seraph? And are you still carrying the box? I'm kind of curious how that goes.
Yeah, I arrive as Seraph.
Is the box like just you fly in carrying a big cardboard box full of old TGU merch?
Yeah.
Sweet. When you come in, you see that Armature is ignoring everyone, working on some equations, and Atlas is there, fully suited up and ready to go.
I'll high five Atlas because here he is. We're buds.
Also, small hand, big hand.
Tiny, big hand.
Yes, you get that kind of.
It's a good visual. It's probably a panel by itself.
It has to be.
Yeah, or a little bit of call out panel in panel action. I'm like, hey Atlas, how's it going?
Oh well, it's been pretty quiet, but things are going okay. How are you?
A lot of the usual, really. However, gotta look up her name. Rasame actually had I lift up the box, a whole box of our old TGU merch.
That's cute.
And I rummage in and I'm like, I go right past the 1XL without even, thinking about it. The 2XL, I'm like, no, and I put that back and I'm like, oh, the 3XL. Be a little tight, but it'll accent his muscles, which seems good. Here you go. And
I think he's gonna try it on right away.
It's like a half shirt,
And indeed, it's like he sort of like squeezes in there, and it's like really like, and it's like just above his belly button. It's like
he's going to the beach. is
That's
really the
nice.
feeling that I get there.
Thank you. I'll grow into it.
Eventually. Oh, and we have a bunch of extra smalls, so here's one for Onyum if she's...
That's perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And I gotta cull her later. But right now, we've got this meeting thing.
That's when Demon Deacon arrives.
I imagine that just heedless of the suit, come over and just slouch down to a chair. Good morning, everybody. As I probably had a cigarello already going, and will pull out my flask from inside of my coat and take a quick slug. Oh, Lord of mercy. Marky, I don't think that shirt's fitting you, son.
Well, it's fine, Reverend. It's not often that I find something that fits me well.
It's going to cut off some circulation to your head there, son.
And he starts to awkwardly start pulling the shirt off again.
Sarah, nice to see you.
Good morning, Reverend.
I have a question that I don't know if we established in background relationships. Does
he know?
Yeah, does he know? Does he know that Seraph is Ashley Banner, or have you not yet revealed the secret identity? Don't flip. I think it would be cool if you have revealed it, but unless you have a compelling reason to have already told Reverend Hasbrook. Because he seemed to indicate that maybe he doesn't know, or maybe he was fibbing to Satin. I don't know.
I mean, Tyler, what do you think is most interesting?
I think most interesting, well, you know, the idea that maybe you are keeping an eye on me, maybe you don't completely trust me yet. I could see, I suppose it depends on if you think in, like, when we're as a team together, other people call you your name in front of me.
Honestly, it's just so much logistically easier for you to know that Seraph is Ashley Banner that, like, let's just go with that and let other things fill up that space.
Cool. And it's perfectly reasonable that I was fibbing to Satin. That is...
that's a good thing to lie about, oddly enough.
Yeah. I agree. I just want to throw that out there. And after I looked a little closer at the secret identity move, I see that it's people who have a tie to your secret identity. That's where you get your XP pumping. So we don't need to lean into that mechanically. Sounds good. Good. You see that there is a half-eaten bowl of soup near Armature as the three of you all chat for a little while, and then Project Diffuse institutes project termination lockdown timer to get Armature's attention.
Does that mean like my actual... I don't think it's a chalkboard, something a bit more high-tech, but does that just like move or recede into a wall that time?
Yeah, it's like slides into a wall to force you to look around.
When do you guys get here?
We've been here for a few minutes.
As soon as you sent the message, well, I mean, you know,
early, right on time.
What time is it?
It's about 1:15.
In the morning?
Oh, no, it's... Sorry, that's... My watch is still set to a different time zone for a video meeting thing. It's about 11 o'clock.
Okay. Huh. And what day is it?
It's Tuesday.
I would have guessed Monday. Okay.
Did you, like, you had nothing to do with calling this meeting, did you? It was all diffuse.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And then Project Diffuse, the tangle of tentacles with weird little glowing red eyes, moves in kind of. I don't think it's like Octodad, but like, yeah, it's got an awkward kind of tentacle gait going on as it moves in. You are correct in your hypothesis, Atlas.
Thank you, Diffuse.
I have called this meeting because there are several updates to erstwhile allies of your own that it felt pertinent to update you on, not through virtual means. And then one of the little tentacles pops and we see a little hologram that kind of pops up, and we see this picture. The Transcendent Crusaders have called a social media blitz and will be announcing this afternoon a new team formation called from students primarily from Hope Academy. They'll be known as the New Young Crusaders.
Ugh.
If my calculations are correct, it is entirely possible that in an attempt to gain notoriety, they will be attacked.
They're missing a muscle.
That is correct. The team formation is substandard. However, the Q ratings for all 5 of the members of the team are extremely high.
And these are friends of y'all's?
Well, no, not really.
Previous team, they were mostly.
Assholes.
Oh. I
Mostly
see.
enemies. We've not seen eye to eye.
Mm.
I get along well with Sloth now.
That's
Yeah.
true. Like some of them are okay, especially okay outside of the group as individuals, you know? Like Avian's fine by himself. Sloth is fine by himself if you're very strong.
And they're announcing a particular media sort of event here?
Debuting a new team's usually pretty big.
Does
Yeah.
tend to bring out the supervillains.
Oh. Huh.
Transcendent Crusaders are very good at PR and passable as superheroes.
Yeah.
Boy, back in my day, we didn't have that sort of stuff going on.
What did happen back in your day,
Uh, well, I mean, you know, somebody beat somebody up and the news would show up and then you'd go, hey, we're part of blah, blah, blah. And then the cops hopefully wouldn't shoot you.
Hopefully.
Well, they sometimes try.
Plus change, I guess.
Is this going to be a problem?
Diffuse, what's the ETA on this?
The announcement will occur in 38 minutes. Also of note, and likely to be announced from this media blitz, is that Copper Top will be released from the Spike this evening.
That seems like
Oh.
a bad strategy for them. If they're making this media blitz about their younger team, why not use that to distance themselves from Copper Top?
Maybe they're trying to do a redemption arc.
Instead,
You see
goodness.
several several kind of images pulled up by Project Diffuse of little pocket stories that have happened in various places, commercials, and the redemption arc has been pushed pretty hard by PR from the Transcendent Crusaders.
Well, I guess it's possible. I wonder what he has on the other team. Because we know they've got to have a talent pool that would make Coppertop replaceable. Just like a AAA.
Yes, the megastars appear not to be a training field for replacement of Coppertop. They are functioning as their own entity. The latest member of the Transcendent Crusaders is Keiji Humura, known as Nano. So, Demon Deacon, you know of the human tank. I imagine that the human tank and perhaps Demon Deacon have either teamed up together in the past, or perhaps you fought each other in the past. But he was kind of the first Japanese-American superhero. He had dual citizenship, and he had a super suit. Super old suit armature. None of the human tank's designs, other than its thick plated armor, would be of any use to you whatsoever.
It was basically just strapping on a load of Kevlar with some reinforcements so he doesn't collapse under the weight.
And a jetpack. But yes, totally that. Again, these are potential threats of which the Guardians should be aware. The Transcendent Crusaders and the Guardians have had conflict in the past, and the fact they now comprise 3 different teams could be a challenge.
Yep.
Are there any activities that you would like for me to research or perform for you?
Get some surveillance on those kids.
Understood.
I want some early warning in case.
Where's that event happening?
And you see a map come up of Halcyon City, and very quickly it locates, it dials into city center, and the announcement is happening at Crusader Tower, of course.
Of course.
I have procured invitations for all of you if you wish to attend.
Open bar.
We do not have a bar here. I cannot open it.
Is the invitation? Do they have an open bar?
I am sorry. There are no open bars at this invitation.
They usually have good catering.
They can afford it.
I'll go. I'll pick up an invitation.
I want to go too.
Fine.
So does Seraph pick up the invitation for Ashley Banner or for Seraph?
I think Seraph.
Cool. Okay. So Atlas grabbed it. Armature, Yep. Are you going?
Yeah.
Demon Deacon, what about you?
Oh, heck yeah. Free spread.
Cool. It appears that Project Diffuse's updates are at an end unless you had specific requests like find me information about this group, which that information will be provided shortly.
And now, just for me, these are superheroes. They're heroic, but we've run afoul of them. The groups are at odds on occasion.
There was at least one member that was going full on Dark Wizard.
Yeah, we had to He had to solve for Mambo.
Yeah,
He was not
and
cool, and
there
I
was
don't.
Zion was problematic.
Zion?
He was sort of the
the leader.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Zion. Zion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah.
Um,
And Coppertop,
no.
who's the one who's in prison, was
Coppertop is getting released
yeah,
from
he,
prison, so that's also
yeah. Coppertop's an asshole.
yeah,
Zion is
allowed
a dude
arseholery.
he's a dude who is more than willing to make certain moral compromises.
Why was
Last
Coppertop
game
in jail?
we had real proof. Coppertop's in jail because we made sure that the public caught him essentially using his powers to just flat out commit assault and battery, like aggravated battery.
and destroying lots of stuff on his
Yeah.
little revenge tour.
Oh, okay.
Like willful destruction of property, blah blah blah. And in general, even if you're a superhero in a team with good standing, they kind of have to throw at least some of the book at you if you are caught using your powers like that.
Yeah.
So that's
So they're
that.
they're loose with the rules. Is that the impression that Deacon will get from
We've
y'all?
also had and shown Deacon proof that Crusader Tower was funded by the Spider. And the Transcendent Crusaders are beholden to the organized crime community of Halcyon City.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So hero is heavily in quotes.
Yeah. Like maybe the Transcendent Crusaders do a little good overall, but
They also ignore.
it's like donating to a charity after going to work every day for a company that, destroys the rainforest.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right. I think I'm up to speed.
Yeah. And like some of the people in the Transcendent Crusaders are kind of okay people, but they're a little bit over a barrel. But for the most part, the Transcendent Crusaders is much more a PR generating engine and a tool of the Spider than an actual effective superhero team.
And I was confused by the outfits of the new team because they have the same outfits as the team that Sloth and Battlecry were on in school. So
Yes, that is true. We've just done some editing. It's like some photoshopping, but yep. But if you remember,
Well done.
Sloth and Battlecry were actually Young Crusaders before. So
Young
they're just
Crusaders, that was it.
Yeah. So this is the new Young Crusaders.
Awesome.
Yeah.
then I wasn't far off.
You weren't at all. I probably could have
probably-
explained it better.
Yeah, they probably started a new name because their legal department couldn't figure out how to maintain the copyright without doing that.
Yep. Because people are still Googling Young Crusaders to get to the Mega Stars, which is the team name they use now
Yes.
with their reality
Don't
show and
capitalize on
tie-in. Yeah. Cool. So the readout that you get from Project Diffuse is that from left to right of the picture, and I'll reshare it just so you go. Why not get some stuff out of it? So from left to right, we have Pusher. Pusher has mental abilities. It's Naomi Vasquez. She has powers to read thoughts and often can exert mind control. Then to Pushers from left to right, next is Feline. Feline is a half-cat mutant, suspected that she was a product of Hanover Industries, but unconfirmed. She was found in the alleys of Rio de Janeiro. and moved to Hope Academy and is recently graduated. She has the best marks of any member of the team. Desert Wasp is a Saudi national who's been attending the school. He has the ability to fly, as you can see, because he's hovering, as well as he has a force field and blast powers. Next is Kid Alchemy, who has the bizarre power of turning things into gold. His real name is Terrence Bling Brown, and he was actually offered the choice of going to Hope Academy or jail in the Spike because he was selling a bunch of knockoff gold watches and the like. And then last is Student Body of the group. She's the one who it seems the most out of place in this group. She was the it girl at school, model, popular cheerleader, and she has the ability of emotion control and like a charismatic boost that she can offer to her team. So she's kind of a glue and booster and support character. And they do not have a brick, as it were. And of course, that will be in the analysis from Project Diffuse's information.
You anticipate they're going to be a little hostile towards us if we show up?
No. I don't know these kids.
Yeah. They don't know what they're getting into.
But, I mean, they missed the ball on the Kid Alchemy name. If he's turning things to gold, it should have been something Midas, right?
Right, like Kid Midas. Come on.
Yeah.
Isn't his last name Brown? Shouldn't he be Golden Brown?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's great.
No, we should be on our best behavior. There will
Hey.
be press there. There will
Yeah.
be the public there.
Hey, Diffuse. Diffuse?
Yes.
So, Coppertop getting out early on good behavior, or I don't remember what his sentence was.
The sentence was 5 years. He
Okay.
has served his
service.
entire sentence. According to the recent blast from the Megastars account, he was offered several early releases and declined them as he wished to pay his full debt to society.
Okay, that's good. I guess.
Mm.
Okay.
Use some monitor him.
Who knows? Maybe his time in the Spike has actually changed him. We'll see.
Let's
Yeah, right.
go have a look at these new young Crusaders.
Awesome. So we will. Oh, how do you guys arrive? Gonna have the few panels. Do you guys arrive? Do you arrive in some kind of super car that Adisha provides, or does Sarah fly in? The rest of you drive in.
I can fly now.
Oh, that's true. You could totally fly.
So I have to go fly, which by the way, I think it looks like an octopus underwater. That kind of
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not disconcerting and weird. I love it.
Yeah. And like when I kind of land, it's like then I form legs like that look human shaped and arms that look human shaped. But when I'm in the air, I just
sort of ooze around.
yeah, it's just like separated out. There's kind of a larger
That's
field.
cool.
So there's two flyers. What's the Deacon doing?
I don't
suppose
think. By the way, I
I'll
don't think I
try.
fly fast.
Oh, yeah, I'm certainly not flying. I could pull up and get valet parked.
Do you guys arrive in the town car then?
I don't know. Like Atlas is just gonna have to walk, I think.
You can fit in the back seat, son. It's plenty big.
Seraph can give Atlas a ride.
Okay, that's still uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
sure.
It's not the best, but it's a lot faster.
I'm curious,
Is
do you
this
still have the
under
TTU
armpits
shirt
or
on?
Holding a hand.
No, he took it off, remember, because he was embarrassed that it didn't fit.
All right, so Seraph will fly in holding Atlas under his arms. Luckily, he's super strong, so it won't cause any irritation. Armature, are you trying to make any accommodation for Demon Deacon, or you just take off on your own and let him deal with him?
You know, I think I've had one of those kind of nudges from Seraph recently, and I think I go in the car with Reverend Hazard.
Oh,
Like,
God. So you can fly, but you choose not to fly to arrive with Reverend Hazard.
So the back seat is now just me and a pile of metallic tentacles.
That's great.
And I'm just like, just give me a day with this.
She's done good duty thus far. None of your fiddling around now. You like the Statler Brothers? And I'll put in the 8-track and we'll start jamming out.
Oh, my Lord. What is the expression on Armature's face when she hears the Statler Brothers?
What is this?
Some of the best harmonies you ever gonna hear, buddy. Or sweetie.
Sure. And I'm like, some of my tentacles are just like tightening bolts. Just a little bit of touching up, a small bit of rewiring. I think your brakes just get like, oh, those are going to go soon. And just like, there's tentacles like out the window.
Little warning things.
just turning it from slightly less of a death trap.
And I imagine that I'm trying to strike up whatever conversation. Hori is one to talk, and probably thinks you spend too much time in your head and in the lab.
This is out loud? Do you say that?
No, the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he wants to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Cool. Do we think this is a comfort or support? Do you think that maybe you're trying to pierce the mask to understand what's going on with her? I'd love to engage a move if we think one would fit.
Maybe comfort and support. Maybe
awesome.
Again, it is that sort of idea that she seems like she doesn't have enough human contact, or he thinks that's not great.
All right, so you guys are listening to, in particular, the Bed of Roses.
Absolutely.
By the Statler Brothers. And yeah, you're reaching out to try to support her and gently suggesting that maybe she needs to. How does that look? Like, you said you didn't openly say you need to get out more. So how do you approach that?
It's going to start with referencing the song. Rose here's a prostitute, but what they're talking about really is that Rose is a way to, be someone who cares. You got to find somebody out there that makes you feel like they care about you. Don't you think, Army?
Should I go and have sex with someone?
Well, no, not exactly. That wasn't what I was saying precisely. What I'm saying
In a while.
You gotta have. Well, you shouldn't just hold yourself back. I mean, you're fine-looking young lady, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's about knowing people. People are what make the world go round.
Mm. I've been in the lab a few days.
Few days.
A week, maybe?
That's not being in love. That's
If you
being
bring up the
horny.
food. Mm.
You need to find people. People are what make it all worthwhile.
Going to a party?
Sometimes. Sometimes it's just...
I'm going to a party. We're going to a party right now.
You're going to talk to people?
Maybe.
Or you study your stuff and not... And analyze what's going on there and look for advantages and problems.
It's like Seraph's in the car with me.
Not exactly.
Cool. Let's go ahead and have you roll comfort support. When you comfort support someone, roll with humanity. On a hit, they hear you, and they choose one.
Okay. And did we get a roller?
Yes. I'm sorry. I got a roller. I stuck it into the basic moves tab, but I didn't share it with you guys. There you go. It is intensely massive slug.
All right. Pull that up. My humanity is naught. So...
Appropriate for a tarnished.
Yeah. I thought so too. Let's see how we do. That's a 5.
All right. That's a failure, in case you're curious. And on a fail, then I've got some possible reactions. So you guys are chatting. I imagine that maybe you paying attention to Armature. Seraph has flown away, and for some reason, due to traffic, Armature is and you are a little slower. You slowed behind. And as you guys are talking, I think Armature, you get a quick notification of like a proximity alarm when something slams into the side of the town car. And I'm just jumping straight into this. I would like for us to engage with the where is it? Weather a blow. I want you to weather a blow because it comes right into the driver's side. I think Armature, you see it. It is it looks like a golden rhino.
Okay.
So, weather a blow. When you weather a blow, roll with the absolute value of trust or confidence, whichever is furthest from 0. I think both of yours are at 0 because we started at 0s. So there you go. So just rolling flat. On a 10 plus, you choose one of the following. You have to remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, lose control of yourself, or take 2 options from the 7 to 9 list. In the 7 to 9, foe gains an opportunity. The MC shifts your confidence or trust by 1, or a relevant tie is returned and shifts its attitude. On a 6 or less, you stand strong. Mark XP and describe how you weather the blow.
Well, I got a 5, but once per session, you can treat a weather a blow roll as 1 degree less severe. Oh.
Wait. This is one of those like harm moves where it's flipped, so a 5 actually is good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
And this is XP on a fail as a game similar to Masks. It's not called potential. We just call it XP. So yeah, you got a 5, which means you weather the blow, and Demon Deacon, you get to roll as well. So
I got a 10.
Oh, that's not good for you, but great for me. So on a 10, you choose one from the following: remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc., lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or 2 options from the 7 to 9 list.
While he's deciding, I think how I weather blow is like as the impact hits, all my tentacles just like swarm over me in like almost into like a ball that just gets knocked. I think the
Tentacle bag
through the car, like knocking the door off on the other side, and I roll out the back.
Nice. It's like one little pop-up that says, this vehicle does not have an airbag. It doesn't. Totally doesn't. All right, so
Is that actually a pop-up in my displays?
Yes. Yes, one of your pop-up displays.
I think I'm going to take 2 from the 7 to 9. A foe gains an opportunity, and the MC shifts my confidence or trust by 1.
Awesome. I'm going to say your confidence goes down by 1 because, I mean, as far as you can tell, your lovely Lincoln Town car is trashed. And the opportunity is that thing. So yeah, it crumples in, kind of traps you within the car. It's spun around a few times and slams into a light pole because when this rhino hits you, it's like you were going across a X intersection, and it just came out of nowhere, slammed into the side of the Lincoln Town car, spun you once, you slammed into a light pole falls over, so you're trapped in the vehicle. But armature's fine, and the rhino, the golden rhino, hops up on top of the hood, same place where Satin was, and the hood starts to crunk, and looks like that horn. It wants to stab you in the face. What do you do?
Oh, hell. I think that I'm attempting to, knowing that, so I know I'm stuck in here at the moment.
You certainly are.
So I think almost reflexively, I create this illusion of myself still sitting there as I dive towards my floorboard, crawling towards the passenger side of the floorboard.
I want to see you escape from peril. Roll with daring.
Ugh.
That's a nice sound effect. You're flat on daring. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
By the way, this is a confidence aligned move. So at the end result, you take your confidence, which is now a -1, and you're rolling with daring, which is a 0. So you're rolling 2d6 minus 1. Good luck.
That's a 2.
Okay. So you get an XP. That's good news. Yep.
Yeah, I'm racking up.
And then this thing, it doesn't even track with the illusion. Maybe there's a flaw in it, or perhaps it's immune to it. You don't know. It stabs through the engine block, and it pierces you in the shoulder. I would like for you to weather another blow.
Oh, hell.
Mm-hmm. Now you're rolling with the absolute value, which is a -1. So you get to roll 2, right? Is that how it goes? Absolute. So it's +1.
Absolute value is 1. Yep.
Absolute value. Rich remembers math from long, long ago. He just does through a fog and haze of being old.
So rolling +1.
Yep, 2d6 +1.
That's a 9.
Okay. So which do you choose from weathering a blow on 7 to 9 list?
Well, I've already taken 2, so I should take the other one, I suppose. Relevant tie is returned and shifts its attitude.
Crazy. All right, so let's take a look at your ties. So we have ties with Armature, Atlas, and Dalmuth, the pawnbroker of hell. So how would you describe the Dalmuth, the pawnbroker of hell? What was their attitude towards you before?
Dalmuth is the one who got me in trouble to begin with, and I have put myself in debt to him in the past, but managed to often get things back. I've done favors for him. He sees me as a commodity.
Nice. What does Dalmuth look like? Like traditional devil, like some kind of imp, a regular person?
He's bloated and large, kind of the sweat-soaked wife beater look of a really horrible pawnbroker, the guy that's going to be stealing your give you nothing for your heart's most dear possession sort of guy, but demonic looking, definitely.
Okay, Wow. So I think as you dive to the side, and you get pierced like through, it knocked open the really huge. We used to have a town cart, so like I can kind of envision town cart. So this gigantic glove compartment popped open where the horn came through, and you see his face kind of turned to the side is none other than just appearing out of nowhere, Dalmuth. And he said, and everything freezes for just a moment. Hey there, buddy.
Not a very good time.
I would agree, buddy. You're bleeding over your upholstery and everything there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Oh, my poor car.
Yeah. You know what? We can talk about that later. Right now, I'm here to save your life. You want me to save your life? Is that what you want? Is that a thing you'd like to happen?
I want my life saved.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. This here golden rhino, who even knows where it came from? I could just make this thing disappear for you, for a bargain.
You got me between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, gotcha indeed. But hey, buddy, who else is out here to help you? I didn't see Tentacle Girl doing nothing for you at all. She just watched her, did some calculations or something. Angel girls flying around. I mean, you're kind of go by yourself here. Except for me, I'm here. I'm here for you.
What you want?
And he does the snot missile.
What you want? I ain't ready to die.
Oh, all right then. So yeah, that thing the Satin did, yeah, let's just up the ante there. Yeah, because it seems like this 2-on-2 meeting is not satisfactory. So I will save your life, but you need to get me Seraph. I need a 1-on-1 meeting with Seraph. Or whoever she is when she's not angeling it up. You give me that and I'll save your life, this rhino. Go away. I know, I drive a hot bargain. What you gonna do?
And had I been told don't let Seraph know, was that part of the conditions, or can I tell her?
That's a fair question. I think Satin's arrangement was not specific on that, because Satin works by, what they see as fulfilling the minimum of their contract.
Okay. Fine. I ain't ready to meet my maker yet, and you know damn well what'll happen if I do.
Yeah, the ledger for you. Doesn't look too good, buddy. But you got another day. So we cut to Armature. What is it that you were trying to do when you saw this rhino stab through the freaking engine block? What were you about to do before it disappears?
I think one of my tentacles picked up the car door and discus style was coming around me and then to throw it.
Nice. So it flies through the air.
Yeah.
And it flies right through the space where the golden rhino was, but it's gone. It just disappeared.
And then I'm gonna just quickly go over to the car and tin opener it.
Cool.
To look inside and to pull him out.
Awesome. Tyler, did you need a break? Do you want me to cut away? Cool. We'll cut away. So Seraph, you're flying high with Atlas, and yeah, I think it would be a thing where Project Diffuser probably, as a personal system, would say, Seraph and Atlas, it appears that there is a car crash involving Armature and the Demon Deacon 4 blocks behind you.
Shit. Let's turn around.
Yep. Just drop me there.
Nice.
Yep.
So Armature, you pull the dashboard back and rip open a door with your tentacles. You hear a slam from Atlas landing on the asphalt, cracking it, because that's just a cool thing that we see in comic books. And you see Demon Deacon, like you've been stabbed in the shoulder. You've got a bunch of contusions on your head. You look rough, buddy. But you see Armature's pride, the jaws of life right on those tentacles. Yes, 3-point landing. Thank you for that. That is definitely the thing that happens. So, Demon Deacon, it looks like this golden rhino is gone. What do you do when Armature pulls you free?
Okay.
No, I think I may need to go to the hospital.
I look around to Seraph.
Yeah, a bunch of traffic has stopped. Right, there are people who are kind of gaping at what's going on. The red light's still cycling through, but nobody wants to go in the intersection.
I'll take a little loop around, like looking for whatever might have caused this mayhem, because it was certainly not another car. Where's just a little bit of mind mapping? Where's Deacon and where's the car?
Great question. So Deacon was in the car. He never was thrown free.
Or Reverend Hazard, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Reverend Hazard was in the car. It was going across a cross section, and then the rhino came and hit it from the side, threw it into a street lamp at the corner, and then the street lamp fell over, so he was trapped in. Then the rhino hopped up on top of the roof, jammed its horn through, and stabbed him in the shoulder. So he was kind of facing the corner of a building, more or less.
Okay.
And then all the traffic that was going just immediately stopped and tried to stay clear of crazy superhero battle. It also sounds though that you're trying to assess the situation a little bit. So let's have you do that. Roll with genius.
All right. Let's throw it. Damn. All right. So that's a 10 with an 11 on the dice and a -1 from my stat.
10, you get to ask 2 questions.
All right. Let's get down there. Let's see. What here is in the greatest danger?
Ooh, what here is in the greatest danger? Obviously, Demon Deacon is in the greatest danger. This attack was very specifically on him. It mashed his car, and then it went after him, ignoring Armature as if she weren't even there.
And I suppose, what here can I use to find the source of the attack?
Flying around as you are, you pick up that there is a small, it's almost like the Stitch from Harry Potter. It's like this little golden orb with little wings that's flitting around. And if you weren't up here at this vantage point where you can kind of look down on it, it's moving around like a hummingbird. And it's because of the golden color, and maybe you caught a glimpse of the golden rhino. Perhaps there's some kind of connection. It's the only thing that you're able to pick out, but it just seems fishy enough.
Yeah, I'll try, since I've got altitude on it, I'll just try to drop on it. And honestly, I'll be that guy again and try to catch it in the downbeat of a wing, just to slap it around and then catch it with my hands.
That's awesome. I think you're wielding your powers here.
All right.
Because you want to take hold of something vulnerable to you, which is exactly what this is.
Nope. Floor dice.
Oh, they don't count.
They don't count.
And does she get +1 because of assessing?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
All right. So that's a 7 on the dice for an 8 and 9.
Nice. Okay. So on 7 to 9 on wielding your powers, you choose 1.
I will certainly take hold of something vulnerable to me.
Fine enough. You buffet it, and it pops up, and you catch the golden snitch, as it were. It is literally like a little golden eyeball. Like the eyeball is just etched in. It's not an actual physical human eyeball. It is a golden eyeball that has these weird little snake-like things that pop out like wings and allow.
Is it magic? Is it pinging my magic sense?
Yes, it is. Magic in the sense of like mechanical magic, like the mechanical owl from Clash of the Titans, Bubo kind of magic.
Right.
But yes, it's tinging your magic sense.
Yeah, and I will drop down near the intersection and have that right here in my hand. I found something. And we should probably get that light post out of the way.
I think I'm bleeding to death.
Yeah, he's hurt real bad. Wait a minute. I think that
the best reaction. Sorry.
Light
Well,
not a problem.
I'll drop this in Unisha's hands.
yeah, I'm like instantly distracted from the bleeding friend.
Nice.
And I'll scoop up Reverend Hazard and say, next stop, hospital.
Cool. All right. So let's. Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
Can I wield my powers with it?
I think you probably should try to wield some powers with it.
Find my stats. Power. Yeah, well, it's roll with power, of course, which is flat. Well, I got worse than I had before. I have gone from a 5 to a 4.
Awesome. That's great. So you start to take and pry it apart.
This
The
makes
first
no
thing,
sense.
of course, I mean, that's what you do, right?
No, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was just like, I imagine looking at it, if it's like a magical thing, like I imagine magical mechanical things shouldn't work.
No.
So they do. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm getting annoyed by this.
Yeah, it does not make any sense whatsoever. Two things happen as you're trying to pry it open or figure out some kind of access panel. You see a few sigils kind of appear on the back of the eyeball, and they quickly disappear, and then the gold shifts and it starts to take on a heavier property as it becomes this like dull gray color, which you realize is lead. And then it explodes. Please wield go ahead and take a powerful blow there. Or weather a blow, sorry.
Yeah, I will. Well, I got a 10.
Oh! You should have a conversation with your digital dice because they don't know which way they're supposed to roll.
Well, Project Diffuse will, I think, let me weather one less severe on that.
There we go. Now you get to use that cool
Yeah.
thing. Warning, this is not a mechanical device. Countermeasures may be deployed. So, yeah, you get to go bump down to a 7 to 9. Foe gains an opportunity, MC shifts your confidence or trust, or a relevant tie is returned.
MC shifts your confidence or trust by 1.
Awesome. Your trust goes down by 1.
Oh, by the way, at this point, I would like to say that my self-repairing in my head is not like nanotech, whatever, but it's actually I can port in more tentacles. So there's a very thin, just like that size portal that I can power up on on my belt or whatever, and the tentacles can come out of that. So I'm just saying, Project Diffuse could probably come through that.
Oh, nice.
if it's not like, doesn't have to be hovering along suddenly.
Nice.
But yeah. So,
All right, let's jump over to Atlas. So you land. You saw Armature prying open to help Demon Deacon. Looks like Seraph is going to fly off with the Deacon to get him to the hospital. What are you doing, Atlas?
I imagine that he's trying to clear the street.
Nice.
Like,
I mean, I don't
traffic is
think
building up, and like, lift up the car.
you lift up the car, move it aside. You see a couple of HCPD come up, and they see, oh yeah, you move the street lamp, and I don't know, there's a bunch of glass on the ground as people are trying to drive around it, but the traffic will pick back up again. And HCPD comes up and goes, hey, Atlas, thanks. I need to get a broom. What happened here?
Well, I suppose a car crash. I don't know yet.
Oh, you didn't see it? You just came along all good Samaritan-ing it up?
Well, yeah, let's say that. I'll be able to give you more information once I hear it from my team. And like, sort of like going, guys, what happens? Because he just dropped in and doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
So, Seraph, like, are you holding Demon Deacon, like, kind of carrying him like this as you fly off from the hospital, or?
Yeah, he's getting a princess carry because it's the only way to really safely support his body.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
I guess he's not like Atlas. You could just hold a hand and muscles and structure will just take it.
And yeah, since I'm up in the air, if I need to activate my mic, one of the little head wings will just be like, boop.
By the way, the weather below, what did that actually look like? Was that like?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. We'll spin back to that panel and ask the artist to put in more details. Like it explodes in your face. So, you chose the losing of trust. So I think it's one of those where it blinds you for a few moments.
And I chose my personal assistant taking some of the brunt of that blow.
Oh yeah, so maybe like part of Project Diffuse like slides in and has some kind of transparent steel alloy that it puts around to keep it from hurting you too bad. But when you open your eyes for a few moments, you see this like, you've ever seen like spots in your eyes? Yeah. When you get like get your bell rung, the spots are golden for a few seconds, which I would imagine normally they're silvery for you, which is a little weird and kind of magical. Yeah, maybe you can't trust everything that you see for a little bit right now. All this magical stuff.
With weird tentacles.
All right, cool. So back to Seraph. You got a question from Atlas of what happened.
Yeah, and I'll tell Atlas. It looks like there was some kind of magical attack. Just as we turned around, I saw this golden rhino, which was on the car, and then it blinked out of existence. And hopefully you'll find more from that golden snitch.
All right. Copy that. And then turns to the...
And then you see the golden snitch blow up in Armature's face.
And then
it blew up.
Are you okay, Armature?
No, that hurts.
Right. Well,
it blew up and it's nonsense.
There was an attack, officer, and we'll get on to the bottom of this, and we'll keep you updated as we find out more information.
And he says, We just want a preliminary. This is our job. We'll take a look at it. Thank
This
you,
golden
Atlas.
rhino thing.
Yes, Golden Rhino. That's what we know so far.
He pulls out his phone and starts tapping around. Golden rhino? He looks up for his partner. You ever heard of a golden rhino? Oh, I've never
Atlas.
heard of a golden rhino.
This could be connected with the party.
I know.
We should probably get there.
Ixnay on the RTP.
The cop looks over and he's like, does he think I don't know how to speak Pig Latin?
I just give him Atlas, come on.
Fine. We're going to investigate the unveiling of the new team. Fine.
Why are you telling him everything?
He's like, thank you very much.
No offense.
Good. I really appreciate it.
You just said...
Okay. So we're kind of near the normal end of time. I think we have time for one scene, and I would love to see if the Demon Deacon, while being carried by Seraph all alone, takes up on the thing that he owes a certain somebody.
I think that, as we're flying along and I'm bleeding and probably, Seraph, I nearly died.
Reverend, are you sure you're not just in shock? This is a serious wound, but you're going to be fine.
I was gored by a golden rhino, Seraph.
Maybe I've been doing this too long.
Well, that don't happen to me very often, and I think, looking very pale, I go, by the way, I may have promised a demon that I was going to set you up with a one-on-one conversation with someone who seems awfully interested in your secret identity, and, that kept me alive. And then I'll pass out.
That's great.
Well, I put on the speed to get him to the hospital.
All right.
Because clearly this is serious.
Imagine Halcyon City General has a supers ward, and you'll come into that ER entrance, and
there's probably a fly-in ER entrance.
God, there has to be.
There
totally.
has to be.
Yeah, it's sponsored by
Transcendent Crusaders.
Yes, that's where I was going. We call it our avian entrance because he's brought so many people in. Good. Good. So I think that will be the point where we can maybe bring this session to a close. You guys are cool with that? All right. So there is, within the basic moves, an end of session. The end of session, take a moment to reflect on how the events of the game went and what big changes happened or seem to be on their way. Choose someone you're tied with and ask them one of these questions. This is on row 123 of the Basic Moves tab. How did my actions this session affect the community? How did I affect the team this session? How did I affect you this session? After they'd answer, you choose one of those questions. After they've answered, they shift one of your tracks by one. You guys think about that. I'm going to take a 2-minute bio break while you ponder that. And we'll see back at, so we'll see you at 9 till.
I'll take a 2-minute bio.
Go for it, yeah. You're muted, Alex.
Of course I am.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a read on trust. Is trust an external, public trust, or is it I wasn't sure. I got the feeling that confidence is the kind of personal feelings, but the trust is kind of the external, the world viewing you, feeling kind of.
That's a good way to sort of slide into the ideas. I wouldn't say that it's 1,000% always like that. I think that Unisha not trusting her senses is an interesting angle for trust.
Yeah, that's why I was
just roll with it.
Yeah.
But also, when you're not trusting people, it tends to make other people go, "Why not?"
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, in general, trust is a more external measure, and confidence is more internal.
Cool.
Welcome back, Tyler.
Thank you. This is a super cool game. I felt like I was playing catch up to get myself into the team.
Yeah.
A fair bit of lore dump.
But this game is super cool.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you. It's been a few months since I've been closely dialed into it, so it's very neat for me to sort of look at the game with fresh eyes again. And
there are so many little gems in it that I have found that are just little things that all of a sudden I'll go, holy crap, that's brilliant. One of the advances I have is to pick up another power, but how am I beholden to someone who gave it to me? That is just brilliant. That is so good. There's some other in the move options, or in the basic move in the option sets. Just brilliant. Really, really nicely done.
Thank you.
Cool. I can't wait to go back and hear what Tyler was talking about in the video. Good. So we don't take up any more time. I know, it's not back, but we can bounce through some of these end of sessions if people have non-Atlas related questions to ask. Who doesn't have a Atlas related question to ask of another teammate? Or someone you're tied with, I guess.
Yeah, it's someone you're tied with. I have one I'll ask Seraph.
Okay. We're going through end of session, Jan. All right. Which of those three questions do you want to ask of Seraph?
How did I affect you this session?
Phew, well, you dropped that deal with the demon thing on me at the last minute, and then passed out. So I suppose that you've given me a serious project to attend to in the middle of a separate crisis.
My track, right?
Yeah, I get to nudge one of your tracks one. And honestly, I think I'm going to nudge your trust up one.
Up one? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. You know what? You came clean with me while you were bleeding out a bunch. I take your word for it.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, wow, you're just immediately going to spill those beans. That's pretty amazing.
There was no the hiding effect. Yeah, it was a demon, by the way.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Seraph would always rather know than not know.
Yeah, that was my thought. And I hedged in all through the, I don't want to betray you. And so I wanted to have that kind of moment of, okay, somebody's fucking with you.
Yep. And Seraph's always been willing to be like, okay, let's talk.
Nice. Good. All right. So with everybody here, let's go down the line. We've had Demon Deacon go first. So Seraph next. Which tie would you like to ask a question of?
I think I'd like to ask Atlas. How did my actions this session affect the community?
The community. Let's see. I think, like, as Seraph, let's say you were sort of, you swooped in and swooped back out. But I think as Ashley, there was more of a community impact. So I think that's like you brought out some merch from the old band, and you're working on making job opportunities for people. I think it's a positive effect in the community. And let's see. I think it would bring your trust up by 1.
Cool. Thank you for that. Atlas, you get a question of one of your ties.
I think I'll also go for the community because I don't think I affected the team or anyone specific very much. But I will ask Armature.
Well, I think you stepped into the role of just talking, giving information to that police officer, and just I like that there seemed to be a instant. Was it a police officer? Sorry if I.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought it was. I just missed one. Yeah, just that kind of just that feel of instantly oh yeah, this is a guy on my beat when I'm doing hero stuff. I didn't seem you seem to have a lot of back and forth with the people on the street. That kind of hinted at that. So I think the trust would go up 1.
All right. It's a popular choice.
All right.
And how did I affect the team this session? My car share friend.
I'll be honest, there was throughout the entire session this sort of distraction. The team was a distraction to you more than we were people. So I mean, there was this almost feeling of detachment there. And so let's see, I shift something. I think I would shift confidence up. It's very about you.
I am in my own little personal world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that answer.
Cool. That was interesting. And that will, I think that wraps up everything. Anyone have any specific end of session moves that they do? I don't think so, but I'd rather ask. All right. Good. So let's move to our standard feedback tool that I like to employ. Keep in mind, this is a game in playtest, and we're going to be playing it for a while, so don't hold back. Talking about me GMing it is I'm open to whatever feedback you have to give there, because I'd like to improve on running it so that we all have a really good time. Who'd like to go first? We will start with Thorns. Sorry, I should explain the thing we're doing. Roses and Thorns. We'll start with Thorns. Who would like to start giving out Thorns?
I mentioned it to Jen. I had a little bit of confusion of how the trust was interpreted. We discussed it a little bit, and she kind of said it could be kind of two ways, but because I always thought of it as confidence being like an internal personal thing, and trust being in how the community sees rather than
Yeah, and there's a certain amount of ambiguity that I want, but that's always difficult to communicate and not necessarily be useful. You know, if you say, well, it means this, but it could also mean other things. That doesn't really help somebody unless
you could
we've
say the
gamed
default
together.
is but
Right. We've gamed together for a long time, so it's easier for me to be like, well, it means this, but it could also kind of mean this in this way. And I'm going to get
I
through.
did like how you interpreted it.
Yeah.
It as well.
Yeah.
Does that help? Is that what you needed, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's something for me to think about.
Any other Thorns, Alex, or questions?
No.
All right. So let's just go to Jen. What Thorns did you have?
Goodness. I guess just that I've been taking a break on Lycra for a couple of months, and I'm getting back up to speed. So having to sort of answer questions and revisit previous reasonings for my decisions, which isn't a bad thing, but has slowed me down a couple times.
Cool. I mean, it is literally cool. It's kind of nice to walk away from a game and then play it again.
Yeah, no, it's like this is my try-hard Thorn, because it's also just something that I'm excited about. So if anything, it's a self Thorn where I'm like, oh goodness, I keep having to and think a few things through. Uh-oh, Alex dropped.
Huh. No rejoin.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that should do it for my Thorns.
All right. Jan, you are next. What Thorns did you have?
I think my main one is I didn't get to roll any dice.
I actually considered having you roll dice to move the stuff around, but then it felt petty.
I agree that was not a good thing to roll dice on, because that would have just not be interesting if it's it doesn't move and it's lifting a card. That's something that should be easy for Atlas.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. I'm glad that didn't disappoint you. But I definitely want you to
totally
be able to
agree with that. It's just I didn't get to roll anything.
We'll fix that.
Something looking towards the future is still because we have our scales of where our confidence and trusts are on our character sheets on one tab, and then you've got what they're aligned to, which moves they're aligned to on a different tab. I can imagine in the future doing a lot of weights. So I need to go to here, see how much I need to add or subtract, and then to another tab to see which move is affected. Like eventually you'll get used to it, but at the moment it's like I'm already going like, wait, so I need to go here first and then there. Okay, and then I know what to roll.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I think there's some design that I can put in to kind of map over everybody's stuff so it's at the top, like a header of here are the pertinent stats that you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a Roll20 thing like we've used on masks would be awesome for this, because you can just probably program in a thing where it says like, okay, well, these moves now work at a +1.
I will say that was something early on. I had similar issues, like not this session, but
Maybe just a
earlier
comment
playtests.
in the confidence and trust cells.
Yeah, that might help. Then you can see, like, just because you just need the 4 moves that, because then you don't need to move over to the basic move sheets to see which ones are affected. That might be good.
Yeah, no, that's a good suggestion. I think we can make that happen pretty easily. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything else, Sean?
No, that's it.
All right, and then Tyler, what thorns did you have?
This is a thorn for me. I think I suffered a bit of overload. I had read through the system, but there's a lot to it. I really like it, but there's a lot to it. And I had completely not, even though it's very clearly laid out, I hadn't quite gotten the aligned things in my head, how they worked. And there was, like I say, overload of new character in a pretty well-established...
Mm-hmm.
That
yeah.
totally makes sense. I would not like to be in your shoes with 3 characters in a world that's have background already and dropping in there. That's difficult.
Yeah, I felt like I may have drugged things down by saying things like, what is this? What do we mean by that? Who are these? Where are they? And and trying to establish a character. So it was a lot, and I thorned myself for not having everything ready for that, which I probably should have.
From personal experience, I'm already going to say you didn't drag it down for me, but I can imagine how difficult it must be to get so much information at you at the same time.
But yeah, that's pretty much it's figuring out stuff is my only thorn, and that's not a thorn. It can't be a thorn on the game, and it can't be a thorn on you running. It has to be a thorn on where I haven't quite cognized it. So
I think that there's some things that I can do to help you with onboarding, and I want to make that a clear focus. Because I was worried about that. I think it's a heck of a challenge for you, and I admire you jumping in and being okay with, well, we played this for like 15 sessions, and now you get to get thrown in. Have fun. It's not easy at all for anybody. So
it was damn fun.
Good. And I tried really hard to try to make some room for some Deacon related stuff. But yeah, let's keep thinking of ways to make sure that you have fun and don't feel lost. You didn't drag anything down for me. I really like that Deacon.
Well, I think going forward, that's not going to be a problem either. I mean, the more we play, the less I'm going to be odd man out. So that's going to take care of itself.
Good. Cool. We'll stick with you since you had to go last for Thorns. You get to be first for Roses.
Oh my God, I love this game. There is so much cool in it. Like I say, I haven't figured out exactly how to play it very well yet, but everything in it is just so well put together. I love all of these options coming out of moves. I love the choices. I'm really impressed with how it's set up. It's just a very, very nifty game. I also roses to the players who have very strong concepts, but at the same time were very welcoming to having me be a part of it. That was I never felt like, being shunted to the side or that I wasn't a part of the team. Everyone welcomed me in beautifully. So huge roses to all of you. And Rich, a rose to the this was like intense off of a build session. Could have almost been a session 0, but instead you give us a final half that is bloody and dangerous and crazy, and it was tense as hell. And I thought I might be dead and have to make a new character.
I'm glad that didn't make you mad. And I also was like, oh, there's a part of me that was super worried because I was like, does this feel like I'm picking on the new guy? Because it's not my intent. So I'm glad that it was okay with you.
Yeah, and I mean, dice screwed me, and that's what happens. I mean, I like seeing the consequences. That's a good thing. So huge roses all around to all of y'all. Thank y'all.
Cool. Jan, what roses did you have to hand out?
I mean, first of all, it's kind of wonderful to see the team back together, or at least as much as we have. It's cool to get back to a group that has this establishment, but on the same time, especially when Tyler, like, when the Reverends just went like, oh, little Marky, and like, oh yeah, that's that little part of history that we just threw in like one, and it's suddenly like, yeah, okay, yeah, because it's like the fact of just addressing a hulking man like a little Marky. It's like, okay, yeah, no, perfect. So yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Good. Jen, what roses did you have?
Well, good NPC work this session, Rich.
Thank you.
I loved the demon smarmy accent. That was fun.
I was totally keying off the word wife beater for him wearing it. I'm like, yep, he might sound like this. Thank you. I'm glad it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Bargain.
It's a bargain. Yeah. And yeah, I love getting back on this team and being back in this world that we've built. That's very fun. Thrilled to be playing Lycra again. Tyler, I think, while you were probably pretty overwhelmed, I think you put in a strong performance. So I think that Reverend Hazard is going to integrate into the team fairly well. It's fun to see Atlas and Unisha still bouncing off of each other. It was fun to have a few moments in Ashley Banner's ordinary life. And I think that it's cool and a very good idea to immediately toss Reverend Hazard into something that is so important, but not just to him. So I think that's going to bear some important fruit going forward.
Awesome.
So
I'm very
cool.
happy. I'm happy that works for you from a story sense, because that's important.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Jen. And then Alex, bring us home. What roses did you have to hand out?
I've got a few. One, I really like the end of session move. I really, really like that end of session move. Like that one. I mean, Mask one is pretty good, but I think it's a pretty big improvement. I think because it's just, I love the 3 questions.
It also keeps the tracks moving, which I think is important to keeping the game feeling dynamic and like it's using the moving parts for more than just having the GM ratchet people's tracks down constantly.
Right.
The interaction with Reverend Hazard and Atlas, and just I feel so bad for Atlas as he takes off the t-shirt. That was just a puppy getting kicked.
If only we'd had a 4X.
I absolutely. I mean, it's already been mentioned with the Dalmuth, the pawnbroker of hell, but I just the character, but also just the imagery of a wrecked car, time slowing down, and the head being sideways in the glove box. So, I just love that imagery, and it just I don't know there's a 80s movie, I think, with something like with monsters under the bed, and they go to like the monster world. It's kind of like Monsters Inc., but weird and 80s grimy. I forgot what it's called. Might be called Little Monsters or something. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
I get you. Yeah,
I loved it.
Little Drop Dead Fred, or
yeah. Did I have something else? I probably had something else. Oh no, I can't remember. But yeah, and yeah, just like that, I liked having the little awkward car journey. That was nice.
I've got a few rows stand out. I really like the choices. Like, it wasn't necessarily like in game, because it was more like, hey, let's talk about what's happened over the last 5 years. But I found I'm a session musician such a really interesting angle for Ashley. It feels right. Like, Ashley doesn't seek out popularity. She wouldn't want to be the superstar. And I like that a lot. And especially am happy to see that we can juxtapose that against Eunyoung Kim and the one-hit wonder stuff that she's going through. I think that is going to be really fun. It's going to lead to some interesting interactions between the two of them. That I really like how primed we are for some cool storytelling with these characters that I adore. Thank you all for just bringing them right back to life. Like, the voice of Atlas hasn't changed a whit. Gian, you've got that down. The gigantic, slow talking but not slow witted Atlas, like this, I've never seen that before. Usually slow talking means slow witted, but that's never been true for Atlas. And it allows me to have a lot of NPCs just make assumptions that you get to disprove left and right, which is fun. Ashley, it's nice to see Ashley, Seraph, in the Paragon playbook, because a lot of the sneaky, all of a sudden she's a badass stuff is now like overt, versus other stuff where you had to kind of remind me, oh yeah, she is super strong. Like, she is kind of Spider-Man strong, but for some reason, the way that it's laid out here in Project Lycra, it just feels more present, more definitely a part of
more forward.
Yeah, forward. There we go. That's a really good way to express it. So I really admire that. And Tyler, I like the Demon Deacon. I like that he is a very different flavor to the mix. Like, within this ensemble cast, if you think of it like the Teen Titans, because I think the Teen Titans, from a team construction, from the different genres that you can access through the Teen Titans, is brilliant. Like, I think that the Teen Titans is a team functionality to allow you to tell different types of stories is incredibly well generated. And Demon Deacon is one of those, like, I can slot him in. There are a lot of things that he gives us story-wise access to that is different without being a completely like a head turn or a flip, right? Because the demon side of Seraph, like, that's juicy. I had to lean into that hard, and that's where I decided to go for first session. I'm glad that it's you guys seem to respond well to my terrible demon, which really was just Tyler is great at writing down a few sentences that are super inspirational for NPCs. So thank you for that, Tyler. I will take that one any day. Anytime you want to give me amazing NPCs, you do that. So thank you all so much. I'm happy to be back in Halcyon City. Really cool to revisit these characters and age them up a little bit to see different situations. And I'm having a great time. So with that, I will end the broadcast. Thank you all so much. And thanks to anybody watching. Feel free, if you see YouTube comments, to give us some. We would love to hear from you.